Hello everyone, hello. I'm so excited for this stream. I'm so excited for this stream. Fox29, first person in, hello. Right on time. I was barely on time. I was setting up OBS stuff like a minute before I went live. I got a couple plans for today. I don't know how long I plan to do this, but I have a couple plans that I want to get to. But overall, the plan is just to go over all the Vinland chapters that came out this year and talk about which ones are good, which ones are bad. Maybe make a tier list. Maybe make a tier list. Enrica, hello. Welcome. Oh my god, my throat is so messed up. I had a Christmas party yesterday. A lot of yelling and laughter. So, my throat kind of hurts a little bit. But I'm okay. Trip, hello. Welcome. I'll give like another minute or two just for more people to join before I really start. Hope everyone had good holidays though. Still got New Year coming up. But we celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, all that. I hope you had a good time. I hate this song. Actually, no, this song isn't that bad. I just don't like this part of the song. I had to make my own playlist of Vinland background music because some of the music in the Vinland OST is it falls under copyright. It hasn't like gotten anything flagged for me, like, you know, had to take it down or had to mute the part of the stream. But actually, no, there was one. There was one where it was saying I have to mute the part of the stream or delete it. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just delete it. It wasn't really an important one. All right. So, here's what we're going to do. Let me switch the scene. Okay. So, I mean, first things first. Well, we're gonna obviously be walking through the chapters and just talking about it. This is the first chapter of the year. We had, I think we had, what was it, 8 chapters this year. We had 208 and up to 216. So, good amount to talk about. And as we go through, I also have a tier list maker set up. So we will be ranking these chapters. Oh yeah, it would be 9, including 208. So we'll be ranking all 9 chapters that came out this year. I guess, I don't know if I'll be ranking them overall for Vinland. You know what? Okay. What we'll probably do is S tier. These got to be like, you know, these are overall top Vinland chapters in general. And then lower down, you know, the A's would be like, there's a really good chapter for this year, you know? We could also take a look at how the videos performed. I think that'd be interesting. And then I also have, separate from Vinland, so I'll do this right at the end, a tier list maker for everything I watched or read this year or played. I kept a media list this year. I don't usually do that, so this is the first year I did that. And you know, I have a decent variety in here, so I'll do this at the end for anyone who's interested in overall media takes. But we're gonna mostly focus on Vinland, obviously, because that is that is how this works. That's how our how this channel works. I gotta talk about non-Vinland stuff soon. I have to, because Vinland's gonna end, and I need to adapt. It's all simple, my friend, all in S. True, true. If I had it my way. Only bangers this year. Hard to rank. Yeah, it is actually kind of hard. I haven't really thought about it yet. It's probably going to be that I'll play something and then I'll have to move it around a bit as we hit the other ones. But it's only 9. It's only 9. I should be able to rank it confidently by the end. And then I'll probably give my overall feelings on how Vinland was this year, because it's kind of hard to remember exactly how much happened this year. Like, obviously this is the Cordelia chapter, the big Cordelia chapter. So, you know, that with that as like a benchmark, I can kind of remember, okay, everything that happened this year, but I'd like to, you know, go through it and give my overall thoughts, because like right before this was what? Right before this is, oh yeah, the start of the war and Gauki's first attack, just crazy, just insane stuff. But this was the last chapter of last year, so we're gonna have to be starting with this one, which I do like this chapter. Also trying a new overlay kind of setup, just so we don't have like a, you know, chapters over a black background. I don't know if this will look better or not, so we'll see. Love if you started covering JoJo. Honestly, it's JoJo Lance is getting to a point where I think I might want to start covering it, because it's starting to get really good. It was good from the start. I loved it from the start. But every chapter, I've recorded like almost every reaction I've had to every JoJo Lance chapter so far. I only missed like a handful because I was like out of town, you know, reading on my phone. But I just didn't have a lot to say. I felt like it was still setting itself up. It could go anywhere because it's JoJo. Like, I really loved talking about JoJolion near the end of JoJolion, because it was, you know, it was a long story of setting up, and it was finally paying everything off. So there was a lot to analyze. There was a lot to think about. Like, okay, I know what this story is prioritizing now. With JoJo Lands, you know, the stuff it's prioritizing is pretty clear. You know, the themes of wealth and stuff like that. That's like, it's all very high level though. Not much to really theorize on. But JoJo Lands is getting there now. Honestly, I do kind of wish I covered it from the start, but I also didn't want to take on another another workload, because YouTube's a hobby for me. I don't really make anything for these. My videos are obviously they're high effort in like the thought I put into them, but in terms of like how long it takes me to record, to write, to edit, that I try to keep that pretty simple, because I don't want to overwhelm myself and make it harder than it needs to be. I just want to get my thoughts out there. So stacking another monthly manga on top of that would probably be difficult. I might have to do a different format. I mean, those videos would be shorter too. There's definitely just less to talk about. For JoJo, it's more about the reaction, I think, rather than the analysis. Whereas Vinland is all about the analysis. But I'm glad there's interest in covering JoJo, and I think I would like to start covering it maybe sometime this year. I have to think about it. What I'd like to do at least is cover like a shorter manga, maybe one that's already out in full, and just like do an overall review. Like, I'm not gonna do Goodbye Eri, but I just read Goodbye Eri, and like, you know, that's a short one shot. You know, reviewing something like that and just giving my overall thoughts would be cool. Maybe a bit more structured than just, you know, stream of consciousness. Alright. I think it is about time that we start actually going through these chapters. And the first one we got here is 208. This is the big Cordelia chapter, like I said. We have a cold open here. I love when Yukimura does cold opens. It's pretty fun. I like that everything that was gonna happen with Ivar was kind of building up in the background while we got through the Cordelia stuff and Gauki. I like that. Obviously, the focus on the sword, you just know this is coming. This is like a beautiful setup tension. So, love the cold open. And then, by the way, my anxiety when I read Vinland chapters, I think I've talked about this on stream before, but I get so anxious when I read chapters. And this one, no different. Like this is the kind of stuff that makes me anxious. Like, when you are analyzing this story as hard as I am, not that I'm doing anything crazy, right? But like actively, like I really want to think about it and figure out where it's going. Like this is the kind of shit that makes you so anxious because like you just know like that sword is going to do something terrible. Mira, in my opinion, you're the best the analyst. I'm so dumb. Analyst of Vinland Saga and manga. Vinland and manga. I've only done Vinland. I mean, unless you've seen my Planetes videos or the videos I've done with Ari, Kyle, and Mr. Jarky Bacon, then I have other takes out there. But yeah, I only really cover Vinland, and I feel smart when I talk about Vinland. I feel like I have something to say. When I talk about some other manga, I feel really dumb. But I appreciate that. I should branch out more to other manga. For season 3, need your reaction review. A reaction would be interesting. I've never done like watch an anime episode reactions before. I'd have to think about that. I mean, I'm definitely going to do because I did season 2 episode reviews with like with that same group, and like that was a lot of fun, like having people to kind of bounce off of. So I'm definitely going to be doing that again. I don't know if I'll do anything solo for season 3, but we'll see. But okay, back to the chapter, right? So we had that set up, just like the anxiety of the sword coming in, and then you have Cordelia. And you know, at this point, when leading up to this chapter, right, from like very early on in the Vinland arc, I was like, okay, Cordelia is this very physically strong character who's very timid and doesn't really know what she's capable of. So I had been looking forward to the point where Cordelia would be, you know, pushed into having to use her strength. So seeing this finally come after the previous chapter, Cordelia is like pinned against the door and kind of like unable to stand up for herself. So seeing this, I was so excited, man. Hi, like your review. They're the best I could find. Thank you. Thank you. That's another person saying I'm the best. I appreciate that. So this Cordelia flashback is so interesting. So with when we saw Cordelia's flashback for the first time, let me actually pull that up. Let me pull that up real quick. Because when we saw her backstory for the first time, I think it was chapter 171. I think it's after this. Oh no, it is before this sometime. Her backstory. So the mom always has like this blacked out face. It's very weird, and I mean everyone does. It's not just it's part of the style of the backstory. But in this chapter, we see her we see her face plainly. Like we're actually able to see what she looked like. And that's really interesting to me because what is happening here is Cordelia has had this setup of taking after Thorkel, that she would have to like find her strength by taking after her father, but it's by remembering the nature of her mother, who who was strong and saved her from death, and it gave her life to save Cordelia. It's remembering her mother's true nature of having the strength to protect people. True strength born from a kind heart. That's why Cordelia can see her face clearly now. You know? Some people were saying, like, I remember people saying this was a kind of retconish of the backstory a bit. Is it the same? Oh, it's the same. I never even noticed that that's the same drawing. He reuses drawings. Sometimes in a way I think it's super noticeable, but sometimes it's clever. It's been long enough that I don't notice. But this leads to the birth of New You, and then you have the birth of the child. So this is interesting to me. I really thought this birth was going to, you know, coincide with a big moment for the story, but it's more like a big moment for Cordelia. Obviously, Cordelia's character is important, so a big moment for her is a big moment for the story. But I thought the birth of the baby was going to be, like, you know, coincide with something pivotal. Like, all my reviews, if you go back and watch them, I was saying the baby's going to be born right as, like, somebody dies for the first time. Just the, you know, the poetry of rhyming life with death makes sense. But that's not what happened. It was the metaphorical rebirth of Cordelia alongside the birth of Gudrun's child. And I don't hate that, because it's playing into the themes of motherhood, which is, like, Vinland is obviously known for the fatherhood stuff, because you have the thank you father panel with well, you know, follow your heart, my son, with Leif, Thors, and Askeladd, and all these fathers that guided Thorfinn. It's a very important part of the themes. But motherhood is equally strong, I would say. And, you know, the respect for the turmoil of giving birth, the difficulty of labor, and the beauty of new life. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's really sweet that Cordelia's strength would come from not her father, like you would be inclined to believe based on her build, but from her mother and her connection to her mother's strength and the strength of motherhood in general. And I do truly like that. Also, man, the time it took for this baby to be born was, I remember the lead up to this, everyone complaining not complaining, everyone freaking out every chapter that the baby still wasn't born. So it was pretty satisfying to finally see this. And then you had this moment, which is just like, you know, this is what I had been expecting for Cordelia, and I was so satisfied to see it happen. But one important thing, though, I was really expecting that Cordelia would end up using her strength. And, you know, maybe this is part of the two layers, I guess, of setup here. We're setting up Cordelia. Like, if you're paying attention, you know, okay, Cordelia's strength is like a Chekhov's gun. It's going to fire off. Cordelia would not be built this way if it wasn't going to be important. But with the Thorkel connection, you're thinking, okay, she's going to do something very brutal. But it ends up being her summoning the strength of her mother rather than her father, and like a mama bear protecting the house. And I was a little disappointed with that at first. But you know, thinking about it, we have a whole bunch of chapters left to go, a whole, like, volume at least left to go. Cordelia has plenty of time. But I truly love this panel. That's so good. The the birth of the new you moment is so good. The opening was good. Yeah, I mean, this is a good chapter. I do like this chapter. But like compared to the rest of the year, there's some really good ones this year. I think I would go B for now. I might adjust this later. I might adjust it later. We'll see. And this also might be a chapter that gets better in hindsight too. Not that it's bad now, but you know, further Cordelia development might do something for this chapter. In my opinion, one of the few problems with Vinland is the way Cordelia transsexuality is handled. It's unclear whether Cordelia feels like a woman because of her mother's. Yeah, that is one of my. It's not a complaint. So, with Cordelia's transness, I've talked about this a lot. I don't want to put too much time into it again, but yeah, you'll notice with manga and kind of any media of transness being written by someone who is not trans. Like obviously Kumara is like he's a middle-aged father from Japan. You know, the fact that he's dabbling in it and trying to be very respectful towards it is respectable to me. But obviously, having your quote-unquote trans character be like built so like muscular like her father, it, initially comes off as a joke, I think. And then also, yes, like you're saying, having the background and the reason she ends up having this personality be based on having to be hidden and being like forced into womanhood in order to protect her. That's such a common thing. The Bridget Guilty Gear, obviously, that's another one of that same kind of like backstory where it's really just an excuse to get the character where they are, and the author's not really thinking it through for that implication of grooming, which is obviously a hot topic. But I think the way Cordelia's been handled since the introduction has kind of made up for that, though. I don't have a big problem with it because, it's also, there's something to be said that, yes, people's environment will contribute to the kind of person they end up being. And, like, someone who might become trans, who's, like, kind of, I don't know, already not in the mindset. Someone who has the capacity to do that, but if they're never exposed to those ideas, it just might never happen. They just might, spend their life kind of a little emptier, So, I think there's something to be said in saying, like, yes, her environment contributed greatly to making her this way, but that doesn't mean she doesn't deserve to live how she wants to. She is who she is now, and that's what matters. And I think that's okay. I think that's fine. But yeah, it's not my favorite part of Cordelia, honestly. But, okay, yeah, I'm going to put it in B for now. Might move it around based on the other ones. I do want to try to spread things out a bit. I don't think there's a single D chapter this whole year, but we'll see if I change my mind. But yeah, that's, let me close that. That's chapter 208, so now 209. Oh, man. This is a good one, man. This is a good one, so like, the second I saw this page, this is, like, themes of the story kind of cover. I truly do love this. And obviously, Yukimura's always talked about how the whole hands are one of his favorite things to draw. It says a lot about a person. So having all the hands, grabbing for the sword, it's so good. I really, really love this chapter. This, honestly, if I was just ranking cover pages, this is probably an S1. I really love this one. But, so this is the attack. And I remember I really love the art of this page. The way the lighting is done and the embers in the air, it looks so good. I really love it. And, you know, that makes up for stuff like the Bjarni panel being... I think this was a reused one, if I remember correctly. But, like, this just looks so good. I love the lighting. Sturk's helmet, always contributing to really cool lighting as well. Well, effects of the lighting. And I love that this... Because I was anticipating we have a moment coming where Ivar needs to get humbled. Ivar has to get humbled. And what I wasn't really thinking of is that in that same moment, Sturk getting significantly humbled. Honestly, he gets humbled harder than Ivar does after this, surprisingly. But he is... This whole time, he has been this manipulative guy who doesn't think any real consequences are going to come of it because he's ignorant. He doesn't really understand violence, and he doesn't understand what he's doing to cause it. He's just kind of like, if I do this, me and my brothers are going to get ahead. Honestly, he's mostly just thinking about his brothers. He's kind of... He's not even selfish. He's selfish selfish in terms of him and his companions, his brothers, rather than selfish in terms of, I want to get ahead. But I'd say his brothers are an extension of himself, but he's very much giving his all for Ivar's sake. When is 217 dropping? Next month. There was no chapter this month. Which is not unusual. Yukimura, he's taken breaks for Decembers before. I was kind of expecting it, so I'm not really surprised. This and taking it... Oh, Anar taking his first life of Fame Moments. I mean, definitely, we'll get to that for sure. I hope everyone's having a good time. I am having a good time so far. Happy to see more people dropping in. Favorite artworks are Vinland Saga and Death Note. I love Death Note. I never read the manga for Death Note, but that was like, you know, very early anime experience for me. That was kind of formative for my tastes. And yeah, man, like when it comes to like mind games and a really satisfying plan playing out, Death Note's as good as it gets, honestly. The I won moment when Light gets his memories back. Oh man, like, how do you top that? The story couldn't even top that afterwards. It was all... I don't hate the second like half of Death Note like a lot of people do, but how do you top that moment? But okay, back to this chapter. So Sturk's ignorance is actually being finally kind of capitalized on, and that was so exciting. And seeing violence finally come to these characters, that is, oh my god, like, think about all the time of peace that we had. Like, even in the farm arc, compared to that, the Vinland arc has like the longest stretch of total complete peace in all of Vinland Saga. So obviously violence had already kind of started before this, but now, like, characters who are vulnerable, who we think could actually die, are now being attacked. Because obviously Thorfinn getting attacked in the other chapter, obviously Thorfinn's gonna be okay, you know, at least for now. So like, this was just insane to see, like, their ignorance literally just like collapsing down on them. And like Sturk realizing too late. That's literally like, that's just how his character is. He's smart enough to piece this stuff together, right? But he is just too ignorant. He doesn't understand the consequences of his actions. Like, I think of like a Toranaga kind of character. If you watch Shogun, Toranaga is this character who understands how people react and knows how to kind of read the wind and manipulate situations in his favor. in order to get these kind of political victories. And Sturk, he kind of fancies himself to be that kind of character, but he's just too ignorant of the consequences, where he just doesn't realize how bad things are until a moment like this. And I love, even more than the Ivar stuff this chapter, surprisingly, I just love the eye-opener for Sturk. And Gunglati dies here. And this is like, I think this is like the first character death to like violence for like a named character that we had in the Vinland arc. We had Chief Gitpi die. I think that was a last year chapter, and I liked Gitpi a lot. He didn't have a lot of time for people to get emotionally invested in him, but his kind of speech to everyone at the thing is like a really, really great moment. And I just loved his like wisdom. He was a very sincere and strong leader. So, but he died to disease. That also was kind of like, you know, that wasn't the war killing someone yet. But Gunglati is a named character we know and is a victim. And, you know, he didn't have a lot of moments really, but I liked Gunglati. And I genuinely do believe in the Ivar and Sturk's feelings here. I don't feel like, you know, obviously they're brothers or friends who call each other brother. We still don't really know. But I really believe it. Like, Ivar just not getting it. Not realizing that he's dead. Oh my god. This is such a good moment. And Sturk's just look of disbelief down here. So good. It is a good chapter. I love the use of really harsh shadows. That's something we didn't really see a lot of in the Vinland arc, because there wasn't a lot of violence. This is something Yukimura uses for intimidation. You know, like you'll see a lot of from the farm arc, like Gardar panels where he's completely blacked out like this. So I do really like this this Gauki page. And there was one last year of kind of like the first one when Gauki's warriors were attacking that house. There's another really good panel of using shadows. I love when Yukimura does this. I mean, this is just like a manga practice in general. It's not really a Yukimura thing, but he has a lot of good moments of using this technique, where you have the character's head facing the other way to make you just start thinking about, okay, like, he's going to do something. Something is about to happen that is, like, that defines this character. And I really loved getting to this page and thinking, like, I don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to, like, lose composure? Is he going to, like, collapse under the weight of what just happened? But no, he stands on business. He picks up this axe. Not even, the fact that he never even gets to really use his own sword in a battle. He just uses it to maim Misakwe. But yeah, he picks up the axe. And he stands on business. And like Sturk, he's smart. He knows. He can just tell, like, this guy means business. He's not going to just go down easy. And like, this is interesting about Sturk too. He can read people really well. He just could not read the overall situation and the building of violence. It was too gradual for him to really see it. And he's just totally ignorant to it. But like, just by looking at these guys, he knows they're the real deal. And Ivar is not going to be okay here. And then you have this explosion of energy. These, like, the blurs. I love when Yukimura does action, literally just because of these, like, these blurs, the motion blurs here. You just feel so much speed and power in this. And I love too, like I talked about in the review for this chapter, you have the sword, which has been like set up, and we just know it's going to lead to bad things, and that it's a dangerous thing to have here. But we have axes. Thorfinn said axes are okay, spears are okay, because axes are for cutting wood, spears are important for hunting. We kind of need these things, but a sword it's just different. It's a tool manufactured for maiming someone, for just optimized lethality. And yes, you can kill someone with an axe. Everyone knows that. No one wants to deny that. And honestly, you could make an argument that maybe an axe might be more effective than swords in some situations. Swords aren't just an upgrade over axes necessarily. But this is a tool that was made for woodcutting versus a tool made for killing someone. And the sword just has no purpose unless you intend to do exactly this. That was Thorfinn's point. A sword only exists to kill someone. Every other tool, it has some other purpose. It has something it's being made for. You don't see the axe and think, "Oh, that's a weapon." Like, there's no other way to look at a sword. You might look at an axe and think, "Yeah, that's a weapon," because there are war axes. Those exist. You see plenty of characters use them. But he wants to make a society where you'll look at an axe and not think of it that way. But there's no way to look at a sword that isn't for doing this. So this is perfect. I love this moment so much. And oh my god, Ivar is just like total shock. Stirk shock too. I love this panel of him just keeling over. Oh man, I can't wait to see this animated. This chapter. This is an S'er for me, I think. This is an S one for sure. 100%. I might end up moving it down, we'll see. Oh gosh. I might end up moving it down. I'll leave it there for now, but I might end up moving it down. But I don't have any complaints. I mean, with the Bjarni stuff at the beginning, this is kind of a complaint for last year, so I don't hold it against this chapter. But I really wish we got to know more of the villagers. Like, we spent a lot of time getting to know the important characters, but like background characters like Bjarni, like I kind of wish we had, something to really take some of these characters out of the background, so when they die, I can feel more. Like Gunglati's kind of like at the bottom of the barrel of like characters I can feel for, right? Anyone less important than Gunglati, I'm not feeling strongly for them. Like even Gitpi was more like important, I'd say, than Gunglati. Gunglati's important for other characters though, just like Gitpi is important for like Polnook development. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel anything about Gunglati's death, but maybe I need a rereading of all Vinland to remember Gunglati. Yeah, so I think a lot of the way I respond to these chapters is based on the fact that I review these chapters every month. I've been doing this for... How long have I been doing this? We're going to look at my YouTube after this as well. I've been doing this, I think, for over 2 years now, actually. I think it has been over 2 years. And when you spend all this time every month thinking very hard about where these characters are going to go, because like a lot of people, you binge read, you catch up recently, Gunglati is not really you're not gonna hone in on Gunglati, right? But when I'm making a point to analyze and try to think about what's gonna happen next and have something to say in a YouTube video, I'm really thinking about every character and what they're gonna do. So, Gunglati, I didn't cry for him. I cry pretty easy. I didn't cry for... You know what? I'm thinking back. I think I did. But I was just really, really in the moment, But like, I don't look back and think, oh man, Gunglati, no. I'm like, oh man, that was a good moment. I'm kind of emotionally taken out of it now. 'Cause, yeah, he really isn't that important. When I first read it, I used to think Einar and Hild would be together. Okay, all right. I'm gonna take a detour to talk about that. The Einar Hild ship. I don't like shipping. I don't have anything against shipping, but I have like zero investment in shipping. So like when I'm reading a story, unless it's like, oh, these characters are set up to have very good chemistry, and it seems like a natural part of the story's progression, I can get really into a ship. Like Denji and Asa in Chainsaw Man, right? Like, I love that ship because like that's just the characters are building towards that, and it's great. I love it. But like Einar and Hild, they don't have anything. Like I feel like Einar and Hild getting paired up is like kind of a typical cliche of everyone's got to have a partner by the end. You know, everyone's got to be paired up. And I just don't think they have a connection. They're barely friends. They've barely had any good like friendship moments, you know. But obviously they are friends, right? A lot of that stuff's probably like, you know, they have friendship stuff happening off screen, I'm sure. But Hild is just so separate from Einar in my head. I just can't picture them being together, you know? Have Einar and Hild ever interacted? Really? I know. I think they must have talked. Surely. I'll have to go back and look. I'm curious, honestly, if they've really had anything since Hunter and the Hunted. Arne was meant for Einar. Yeah, I think the Arne Einar thing is super interesting because she actually really, yes, she clearly has a good connection with him, but she never really says like she loves him. It is a little bit one-sided, and I do think that's interesting. It's only a little bit one-sided. She obviously cares a lot about Einar and likes him a lot more than Thorfinn. Not even because she dislikes Thorfinn anyway, you know? That's my good friend just trying to make fun of me. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so it is a little one-sided to me, I think. But yeah, I think Einar is just so locked into that, there's no point in trying to pair him up with someone else. Yeah, if you can't remember Kuglati, reread the Sailing West stuff he's introduced with Ivar and Sturk, and then he has some moments. I mean, one reason you may not remember him is because he is kind of implied to be deaf, or at least like can't speak. It wasn't really made perfectly clear because like he's at least maybe hard of hearing, because I do think he's responded to people like talking to him, at least. But he doesn't actually speak. And I don't really know what Yukimura was thinking with that. I guess I don't know if that was supposed to just be just a quirk of the character. But yeah, he's just kind of like their... He was obviously the least important of the three. That was pretty clear. So I get why people wouldn't remember. Do you think Thorfinn and Einar would argue when Thorfinn finds out Einar killed a man? I think Thorfinn would pity him. Not pity. I just think Thorfinn would be just really, really hurt and sad to see that in Einar. But Einar would argue, like, you know, they were attacking me. What was I supposed to do? I can't like, non-lethally disarm someone like you can without dying. You know? I don't think Thorfinn would be angry at him. I think he would just be frustrated and sad with the situation. But what Thorfinn would probably be angry about is the fact that I don't think Einar's going to stop. That's the sad part. I think he has, by like saying he had no choice, he is kind of, and like taking that first kill, he's kind of given himself permission to continue, to justify continued violence for his own protection. If he has the chance to evacuate, he's not taking it. in the end, I must say, Einar's story is very sad. It is very sad. I didn't really get Einar well enough until watching season 2 of the anime and getting reacquainted with how he contributes to Thorfinn's growth, because I like binged the farm arc right after the prologue ended in the anime, and then I binged the rest of it, and Einar just kind of falls off. And I really was thinking, oh, Yukimura, I don't know, does he not have a plan for Einar, or is Einar kind of not important? But Einar was literally just on pause until this arc. That was just it. Because he is firing on all cylinders, and he's probably one of the best characters in the manga right now. I think he'll blame himself for being unable to protect Einar. I mean, of course. Thorfinn and blaming himself, name a more iconic duo. Like, that's all this man does. He will take every burden on. The next chapter is actually perfect for that. Elite Ari, we love anime. This is true. Ari, I know your time zone is super different from mine. I'm gonna be doing ranking all the media I consumed this year, which is a very Elite Ari kind of thing. So I hope you'll be around for that. We could talk about how much we love Fire Punch. But yeah, banger chapter. This one, I'm putting in an S for now. But, I mean, we have another S one coming, like, right after this. Because we got 210. This one is a total banger. Oh my god. So, like, you have the action at the beginning. And I love these, like, dark forest backgrounds. I love how detailed it is. You know, like, if someone asked me draw a forest, man, like, it would be so flat, but this just gives such a good sense of place. I really, really love this background. So Hild taking people down non-lethally still. So I mean, okay, we'll get back to Hild actually. Thorfinn, that shot was pretty damn serious because he is not doing well. I'm like so anxious for him. But, like, the fact that he's still doing stuff like this while being completely just, like, you know, he's just losing all his strength. Some people really thought Thorfinn was going to die here. I was not on that page. I've been saying for a while, like, I think Thorfinn's got a lot of time left. Probably till the end of the story, to be honest. I don't think he's dying in Vinland. I think having him live with the failure in Vinland is more interesting. So I'm hoping we follow history and he gets to leave and, you know, he'll just die of natural causes later. Or who knows, maybe his wounds getting infected or something. But I think he will die. If he does die within the story's confines, it will be after he leaves Finland. Oh man, I just remembered, I was reading this at a friend's house. My one friend I have who I was able to get to read the manga and catch up with me. We were at his house watching Breaking Bad, and then suddenly this chapter dropped, and we were like, oh my god. So we were reading this on his computer, and I remember I like gasped when this happened. And like, he's not as in the know with history on this stuff. So he doesn't really know that Thorfinn is likely going to live, you know, if we follow history. So, like, seeing this, he's like, oh my god, is Thorfinn, is he like done? It's so good. And then we have this moment. So, first of all, I love this page. I think this page is really cool. Somebody was talking to me about this in a previous stream. Hild potentially having killed someone here off screen. I think there is something interesting in letting us think it's so simple to do stuff non-lethally, and then having the reminder, like, no, she is shooting crossbow bolts at people. Like, this is serious stuff. And what I would think would be cool is if, you know, somebody she shot with a crossbow, if, like, the wound got infected and they died. Like, she killed them, no? So, I'm not against the idea that somebody died to Hild off screen here. But I would, if Hild does actually kill someone, I would want it to be on screen, I think. Because I think that's an important moment for her. Because like I've been saying, Hild is this character who has been promising to kill someone the whole story and still has not killed anyone. So the question of whether or not she would actually pull the trigger and kill someone if she had to, I think it's still up in the air, and I think it'd be interesting to put her in that situation soon. But I thought that would happen much earlier. Recurring theme since the third arc is criticism of Thorfinn for always wanting to do everything himself. Yep, exactly. That continues with Einar's frustrations in this arc. It was all kind of building to this arc, as always. This arc is the culmination of everything. That is a really big flaw for him. And for somebody who is, a character that's written to be perfect, it's hard to give them flaws that don't take away from their perfection. But literally, being a perfectionist, that is a common flaw of somebody who is a perfectionist like that. I have to do everything myself. I can't leave it to someone else, not because he doesn't trust them to do it, but because he thinks he needs to be the one taking everything on. He's the one who made the oath. He's the one who has the sins that need to be repaid. He's the one who deserves to suffer so everyone else can be okay. He doesn't want anybody to have to deal with these things. Not that he doesn't trust them, It's a very good flaw for him. What do you think the worst arc in the manga is? I personally feel like Farmland was the peak. I mean, I have come to a point where Vinland arc is my favorite of all of them. I think this arc is just perfect. I love it so much. But every other arc also has strengths. Like the prologue, everything the prologue sets up, like the rest of the manga would not be what it is without it. It has really good moments of, political intrigue that the rest of the story just doesn't have. Obviously, the action is really great there, and I don't think the action should just be written off just because the story is an anti-violence story. The action is still good, and it's fine to enjoy it. Askeladd is one of the best characters in the whole story. I think the writing of this arc has kind of surpassed Askeladd in some ways for me, like with Einar, especially. But Askeladd is still, top 3 at the very least in terms of writing. He's just such a good character. Obviously, the farm arc is considered peak commonly for a reason. That's just, where the story finally shows its hand, and it's very satisfying. But Eastern Expedition, combining Feder Turn, Hunter and the Hunted, and Baltic Sea War, I really, really love those arcs. They have, they're like a comfort food for me now. They're when I think of Baltic Sea War, I think about, cozying up and having a fun read. Because I love the slice of life kind of feeling it gives early on. I love Feder Turn. Hunter and the Hunted is brilliant. And Hild is just such a lightning strike on the story. And Baltic Sea War, it does have some lows, for sure. Some of the comedy doesn't land. But I've just come to appreciate the parts of the story that are lighthearted, because now we're in this arc. This is not a lighthearted arc at all. I mean, early on, it's a very feel-good arc. But, the story is ultimately a tragedy. So having those moments to appreciate, these characters just living life and, having some low stakes fun, I think it's irreplaceable in the story. So honestly, I think my least favorite might honestly be the prologue. It's between the prologue and Eastern Expedition, probably. I think they both have low points and both have high points. But then Vinland's number 1, Farm's number 2, definitely. I think it's a shame Vinland Saga is not as popular as it should be, but on the other hand, weird fans. Yeah, I've said that exact thing. The level of fandom you get with a JJK, I just don't think Vinland really suits itself well to it. I think and like not even like in an elitist way. I don't know. I feel like JJK is a spectacle. That is like that's like getting on a roller coaster with a friend and just having an insane ride and enjoying it with people. That's the fun of JJK. And you know, that leads to very broad appeal and a lot of fandom. You have these characters who are goofy and silly, and even though like, you know, they go through crazy things, like they're kind of very easy to, you know, place in, I don't know, very easy to meme about, stuff like that. You know, that's the kind of thing that really blows stuff up. Vinland, it's not really suited to that, and I think that's okay. It's more subdued, it's quiet, and I think that's alright. I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest. But I want it to be popular enough for the anime to finish and for it to get more merch. That's all I want. For me, the question isn't which bows are the worst, but rather extra bow. What do you mean? Oh, like the different parts. Enrico, I don't really understand your question. Gudrid's development. For me, the question isn't arc. Okay. Which arc? Which arc is the worst? But rather, was there a need for an extra arc? Oh! I see you. Yeah. You're talking about Miklagard and quote unquote cut content. I think yes, the progression of Thorfinn and Gudrid's relationship is like the one thing that leaves me wanting at the end of Baltic, and I, as much as I would like to see, Bo, I see, got it. But I think yes, Thorfinn Gudrid relationship would have been good to see, but what happens in the story, what we get, I think it's not like we're missing an entire arc. I think we are missing some, like a handful of chapters that would have been nice to see. But I think the story, you know, it is a long story, and it's trying to be lean about it and not spend too much time. And I don't think there's a whole missing arc. I think people kind of overthink the stuff about Miklagard, as much as I would have liked to see it. But yes, for Gudrid specifically, because I love Gudrid. You know, if you follow me on Twitter, you know, but Gudrid girly, I love her. So, I obviously would have liked more. And I think her role in this arc is leaving me wanting. And we'll talk about that. I wish they could have done more with Garm. Yeah, I kind of like that Garm. Like, Garm is just such a, like, he's a shonen parody character. It makes sense that he wouldn't, you know, he lives in that arc, and that's okay. I can't see him integrating into the story with the tone it has now. Garm is a character that only works in Baltic Sea War. And I think that's okay. I want to see him again, because I think Garm's funny, but I think it's okay to let him stay. But I'm sorry, let's not get distracted too much from this chapter. So, this moment is peak. Like, this moment alone, this puts it an S. This might be, like, my favorite chapter of the year. Like, this is the stuff I've been waiting for. So, when war first started, Thorfinn, he locks in immediately. He's not going to dwindle on like, oh, woe is me when violence comes. When violence comes, he's locked in, he's ready to fight. He has to. Like, he tanks that arrow, and he charges the guy because he needs to defuse this problem. It's already violent. I need to just end this as swiftly as I can. He has no time to think. So, I'm really glad that this moment, by being literally forced out of the action, Thorfinn is able to finally think. And the weight of how much Vinland has failed, this is really good. I've been waiting to see this, like, exact panel for so long. And then this conversation, if we don't have Thorkel show up later in the story, like in an epilogue or anything like that, I'm glad we had another moment of Thorkel, because Yukimura loves to draw Thorkel. So I'm glad he got to be here. Thorkel's always been, like, the, you know, it's going back to these moments from earlier on where characters were doubting Thorfinn, and for some reason, people just didn't really latch onto that. Because when I saw, at the end of Baltic, Thorkel criticized Thorfinn's plan for Vinland and say it's going to fail, I took that as, yep, like, this is foreshadowing of what's going to happen. Like, this isn't going to go well. You know, we're not going to be idealistic all the way to the end. But some people just didn't take it. I don't know. Didn't bite that bait. Same thing with during the Sailing West arc. Thorfinn doubting himself. Constantinople would have been a small arc with 5 chapters. Yeah, exactly. Like, literally, I mean, 5 chapters might even be pushing it. Like, you really don't need more than, like, 2 chapters to do what Constantinople would have needed. Honestly. And anything that would have been really important there has probably been repurposed into, like, the Sailing West arc. Or, shown in, like, minor flashbacks, like Einar finding the Arnite statue. Why more than 3 people? What was I talking about? For more than 3 people. Let me know what you meant by that, because I don't remember what that was, what that question was about with the more than 3 people. Just give me a little bit of context again, because I feel like I've already forgotten. Is it maybe like this part? Because you have Thorkel, lower left corner. Oh, I'm so dumb. Thank you. If there are more than 3 people, it doesn't matter where. Yeah, I don't know why he picks 3. Yeah, what? I guess 2 people is a fight. 3, like, more than 2, a group of people fighting is a war. That's kind of what I take it as. Because 2 people can't have a war. That's how I think of it. But this moment, man, this is so good. Obviously, Einar's words are the ones that hurt him the most, and I love this right panel. Oh my god, like the embers over the wheat, saying this is the end. It was an important experiment with a clear result. It's so good. Because the thesis of the story is going to be that this experiment, the result is not clear. That failing now doesn't mean failing forever. So this is like the author addressing the kind of counterpoint, which is, look how we failed. Obviously, it'll never work. And I love this stuff being built up. If we couldn't do it here in Vinland, how could we possibly build Land of Peace? It's so good. 2v1 doesn't sound fair. True. Very true. Manga ending early 2026 just because we won't get 12 full chapters. He always takes 3. Yeah, I'm kind of on the same point. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I was thinking maybe very late next year, but we have 1 chapter left to finish this volume, I think. Maybe 2, depending on how long the volumes are going to end up being, but generally they have been around 8 chapters, and we're 7 chapters into volume 29. So if we do 8 chapters and 8 chapters, we have 10 left, which I do think is enough. Actually, it might be 11 right now. I forget how many we have away from ending this volume. I do hope the volumes are a little bit longer, though, but I don't think we should be going to 31 volumes. It's a shame there are not more people like you within the anime community. Everywhere I see people acting, example, Ichigo clear as Luffy. Honestly, Weasel, I think people... I think teenagers are just kind of loud on the internet. That's kind of it. I think... And that's the kind of stuff that blows up because other people are going to get angry about it. Like, it's just kind of like negativity and emotional response is what makes something blow up. So, I think there's a lot more people like me than you think, but they're definitely not the target audience of like a One Piece or a Bleach, you know. Those stories, they have so much more. They have so much more than power scaling, but it does kind of lend itself to that. All right, let's wrap this chapter up. This moment, oh my god, good-natured flower garden of a guy like you. Oh my god, SSSSS. I love this. The fact that it's Hild at the end of the day by his side like this instead of Einar, man. Oh my god. And this is the thesis of the story. If there were more idiots like you, maybe we really could have fewer wars, live and make more idiot friends. This is the thesis of the story. It's if everyone was like Thorfinn, if more people sincerely tried to be like him, maybe things would be better. And yeah, it probably won't always work out, but it's definitely not going to work out if nobody's like Thorfinn. And it's having more Thorfinns that will make this possible. I love this page. It's telling you not to lose heart. Then Polmuk showing up, man. I remember, like, Polmuk had a really good time this year. I'm going to talk about him later for once we get to the last chapter of the year. But the what will he do question here, that was a really good cliffhanger. Because the last time we saw Polmuk, it was him feeling distraught at Gitpi's funeral pyre. And he's like, Pullman, what do I do? Like, I brought the disease to my people. This is my fault. Like, what do I do to fix this? So I was kind of ready for him to reluctantly do what he thinks is necessary. So this cliffhanger is a really good one. This is definitely, this might be my favorite of the year. We'll have to see as we go. But this is a very good chapter, man. I love this one. Hild is amazing. Hild is absolutely amazing. I adore the amount of historical research went into making this story. Oh my god, yeah. Dude, doing research on the Mi'kmaq, the native people that the Ulnu are meant to be, the amount of like research that was done and the thought that was put into how do I integrate their culture naturally into this conflict, I think it was handled very, very well. And honestly, Vinland, one of the things I love about Vinland is the multicultural stuff. Like, even from the very first chapter, you have like you have the Danes jumping into this like French battle, and you have like Thorfinn dealing with the fact that people don't speak Norse, and that's kind of like an early, not foreshadowing, but it's almost like rhyming with the fact that later, he would come to Vinland and have to communicate with people who don't speak the same language as him. I love that. I love the explorations of religion. I love the research that goes into the story. That's why when he said that he didn't do the Constantinople stuff because he wasn't able to travel for the research, I was fine with that. You just, like, if he can't do the setting justice and do the culture justice, he's not going to spend more time on it than he needs to, and I think that's fine. Always wanted to see how William the Conqueror would be in the story. So I realized it's 40 years before 1066. I don't know anything about William the Conqueror. I like history a lot. I'm definitely not a good, like, encyclopedia of history, though. But Vinland has definitely contributed to me liking history. It's funny. People, my friends who know I like Vinland Saga but don't really know what this story is, they'll be like, oh yeah, Mira really likes Vikings. Not really. I like this story. I like how it addresses Viking culture. But it's more about I don't know, anthropology, I guess. I think anthropology is very interesting. And Vikings are kind of like a, extension of interest in anthropology. Okay, let's talk about this chapter. This is 211. I remember I had to read this in the middle of a a museum in Washington D.C. I was in the museum and the chapter dropped, and I wouldn't be home for like another day because I was traveling. And I was like, oh my god, no, I just have to read it now. And I was so anxious. I was so anxious to see what Polmuk was gonna do. So I locked in and I read this chapter, and Polmuk's not even in it, but whatever. This moment, man. I love the use of this fence here because we have the first moment of divide between these characters that, were friends. This is the first time where anyone has thought of this fence as a border. And that is so sad. It's so sad to me. Because Nisquaji especially, I love Nisquaji. She's such a good character. She's so kind. This is such a good moment. Honestly, this might be like my second favorite cover page. Actually, maybe third, because we have another banger later on. I love this cover page, though. I was hesitant on the Bug Eyes Nisquaji relationship because of the age gap. I'm still hesitant on it, but I can accept it. Honestly, I don't care to judge it based on that, considering the time period, because this isn't a thing like Kettle, where like slavery is always cruel, and owning somebody is inherently like this evil thing. It's irredeemable, Like even Halfdan, as much as I love Halfdan as a character, and I think he has good moments and stuff, like he's still a slaver, and that's not good. But this is like a product of the time where, like, it was like this age gap is nothing. I don't think it's meant to be too crazy, but like obviously it makes me uncomfortable from the perspective of somebody living in 2024. But she's like 16, 17, and he's like Thorfinn's age. I think he's around 28-ish. That's certainly not a good gap, and I would prefer if their relationship does not continue to progress in an explicitly romantic direction. But the reason I do like this is because Bug Eyes was in desperate need of a sincere relationship. This was kind of part of the very interesting thing about Bug Eyes, and Bug Eyes is honestly really good character for me this year. We'll talk about him later a bit more, but he's always been this like insincere kind of person. Like he's not one to kind of drop the goofiness and be open and have a sincere relationship with somebody. And the fact that he had the moment with Freya, the gambling thing, where he made all that money from gambling, and then the girl took his money and ran. That moment, it was silly. It was a good joke. It was funny. But it also kind of sets up really well for his connection he has with Niska. And I don't think I'm still not 100% sure it's romantic, but it is a very sincere connection. And I really don't think it's very like manipulative or anything like that. It's this genuine connection they formed by bridging the gaps between their cultures. So I think I'd still prefer it not be romantic, but I don't think anyone should write off the sincerity of this connection and how important it is for Bug Eyes' character. But as much as I do... Okay, never mind. It is... She definitely feels that way about him. That's for sure. I mean, this moment... True. Never mind. It definitely is trending on romantic, but... I think the sincerity is important, and you kind of have to look at this from an outside lens, and yeah. Yeah, it's a little rough. It's a little rough. It's not my favorite thing, because she very easily could have just been a little bit older, and the story would have been the same, and people would have been less uncomfortable. So I don't know. I don't know. But either way, I like this. I think this was good. But the real like kicker, I really feel for her here, the crying. If they don't see each other ever again, I'm gonna like actually be really sad. But obviously the real kicker for this one is the decision to evacuate, and Ivar and Einar saying no, we should fight. And well, when we get to 215, we're gonna talk about this more, but Einar makes a choice here that he's going to fight, that he doesn't want to leave. I don't care what Thorfinn says. I will defend this village even if I have to do it by myself. He cannot let go of Arnheid. He can't lose her again. He has let this expedition become an extension of her because of their promise. And he sees losing this place as her and himself becoming a victim again. And he can't accept that. This moment's so good. This is so good. And, you know, I pointed out the similarity in how this reminded me of when Kettle was rousing the men to fight. And, you know, how he's making the choice, this choice in order to protect Arnheid. But yeah, very similar to how Gardar went to war to protect Arnheid. I like those little parallels. I think people definitely don't. There's definitely people who aren't a fan of that because no one likes Kettle. No one likes Kettle. I think Kettle is one of the best written characters in the whole story, but everyone hates Kettle because he's such just a depraved, pathetic man. But I think the reason these parallels are interesting to me is because we are just seeing these characters who we wouldn't think would go to violence, who don't have those same weaknesses as Kettle, but they're ending up within violence and carrying on violence either way. And Kettle is kind of a progenitor of that, where he was this guy who he did kind things because he was afraid of violence and he didn't want to become a victim of it. He wanted everyone to like him. He's a people pleaser. He has the good boy attitude because he's afraid of when violence gets turned on him. And because of that hatred of violence, he ends up using violence, and it is a flaw. And Einar, similarly, he hates violence, but he's going to end up using it. It's an interesting parallel. Obviously, he is not becoming just like Kettle. He's not acting within the same context as Kettle. But I think the parallels between these moments, they're meant to rhyme for a reason. And it's just to see these characters ending up doing similar things, but the context is so totally different, and you just wouldn't have imagined them ending up here, but you get why they're here. That's what's interesting to me. But okay. Good chapter. Good chapter. I really like this one. I think it's an A. Maybe it's a high B. No, it's an A. It's an A. This is a good chapter. This is a very, very good chapter. I have to think about it. I might move it down a little bit. I like this chapter though. I'm between A and B. We'll see. We'll have to see with the rest of them. All right, let's get to the next one. Okay, so this chapter was... Oh, this is the no choice chapter, right? Yeah. Okay, I truly like this chapter. I didn't like it that much at first, but it's grown on me a lot. Hold on, let me get a drink of water. I've been talking for a while. So seeing obviously the complete disorganization between these tribes, like the very tentative alliance they have, Misekwe getting kind of pushed away, and like he's becoming very uncomfortable with how this war is progressing because he did all this to prevent war. And then we have, I think Muin's really cool. I like Muin a lot. Muin and Gaoki are very, very good characters that really flesh out the Lanu cast a bit more and give different Lanu perspectives, because yes, it wouldn't be fair to just focus only on this peaceful tribe only. Like, because the Gitpi are really, like, best case scenario for peace. But no, they have warrior culture all the same. They have men like Muin, they have men like Gaoki. So I think Muin's a very good character, and I like watching him kind of lose grip over time on this war as well. Oh, here's one thing I've been thinking about a lot with the fort. Where is it? Oh, okay, maybe it's not this chapter. He says something, maybe a different chapter. I love, like, this building tension with what's Gaoki gonna do. Obviously, he's being kind of talked down to here, but he's covered up his initial attack. He made a like, just in the chaos of the warriors arriving here, like, they didn't notice one of the houses is already burned down, you know. So they kind of just they were able to kind of get away with it. And covering it up with, like, this hunt. Oh yeah, this is where we set up the canoes. And we start evacuation. So here's my big complaint, and one of the things I don't like about this chapter. We have sent away Gudrid and Carly. I get that Yukimura cannot have them in the fort when the next few chapters happens, because there's literally, with the tone he has set, there is no excuse for Gudrid, Carly, for Mama, and the baby to be okay. They cannot defend themselves. They need to go. Realistically, that's what would happen. I get that. I don't want Gudrid to just sign off of the story until the end, though. I don't want her to just kind of be like the epilogue. I want her to have something more significant in this arc besides having a baby. Because Gudrid's whole thing was that she didn't want to, like, play the girlhood role, the womanhood role that was being forced on her. She wanted to be a sailor, and she's kind of settled into motherhood here, and I don't like that. But also Carly, you know, having Carly experience war and having him mirror Thorfinn, that was obviously something a lot of people were looking forward to, including myself. So having him get taken away here, I was really hoping that wouldn't be the case, but they do end up going. But this is where we I still, fingers crossed, that she sails back to rescue Thorfinn on her own. That would be peak Gudrid. I'd love it. But she literally just gave birth, man. I don't know. Actually, you know, I mean, she's had a lot of days to recover, so who knows. So yeah, we have the no choice. And that theme, obviously, that plays greatly into 215 when we get there. I do trust Yukimura. I 100% trust him. I'm with you. Oh, is this where we have Einar shot? Oh, no, he doesn't happen to him yet. That's the next chapter, I think. Okay. So the war on the wall. The fact that they're using the bundles of wheat to attack is so sad. It's so sad because, like, wheat has always been, like, the symbol of peace, and now it's being used as a weapon of war. That's, like, tragic. Einar hasn't killed anyone yet, thankfully. People were complaining this chapter that Einar hadn't killed anyone. Actually, it is the next chapter. People were complaining about that, but I was really worried he off-screen killed somebody, so I'm glad that didn't happen. We have Ivar. This was really just like a state of affairs chapter. We're just checking in on everybody. But again, playing into the thematics, you know, we won't stop until victory. This mindset is going to permeate past the battle at the fort, because they're going to continue, and they're going to go and try to wipe out the new force entirely once the disease strikes. Once they start pulling out, they're going to go on the offensive because they won't stop until victory. Everyone's going to end up thinking like this. And it's all because of the no choice thing. And that's what leads up to this conversation, which I think is the best part of the chapter. Saying, like, we had no choice but to go to war. And then Polemuk coming to deliver the themes of the story. Maybe it's in your nature to only look at the bad things. It's so good. Because this is kind of paying off on the vision, and how the vision was like, you know, seeing the future is like, it's a dangerous thing to introduce to your story. And the fact that we know it's true is bad. But Polemuk is addressing the important part here, which is with the way Msipikwe thinks, the way he is so scared of what might come, afraid of the unknown. He always is going to see these bad futures because that's where his mind is lingering. So even though, yes, we know that vision had some reality to it because of history, to them, you know, he's just seeing some nonsense. But it's nonsense that points to the destruction of their people, and he can't bring himself. Well, he can't help but fight against that. He's scared of it. But Polemuk comes in to say, you see nothing but bad futures. Maybe that's on you, and you're bringing this. That way of thinking is bringing this onto us, and that is very important to the themes. Love that moment. Very, very good. I think it's a good chapter, but it's not my favorite this year because of Gudrid going away. You know, okay, low B. No, C. I mean, I love Polemuk at the end, but Gudrid going away sucks. It's not bad. I mean, if you're a Gudrid stan, it's bad. But it makes sense, and I get why you had to do it. But this chapter is, this conversation is very good, but it's definitely not my favorite. I'm between these 2 points. It really ends up where I move this one, so we'll see. Not bad though. Literally, there has not been a single bad chapter so far. Like I would say, like D is like a 7 out of 10. Is an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, perfect. You know, like this is like breaking the scale up here. Like these are still like really, really good. This one. So Cordelia's moment here of non-lethally still, but like still terrifying, smacking people into the water. I truly love, I mentioned this before, but I'm gonna pull it up again because I really love this comparison. Chapter, what was it, 178? Oh no, way off, holy moly. 185. Close. Oh, that's when season 2 was announced. I love that. I like that this calls back to when Niska ran into Cordelia holding the log earlier, and like look at the difference in her face. Here she's like intimidating. Here, like, how could you be afraid of Cordelia? But like that change of context, I really like that Yukimura. He's not always completely on model. He will change things depending on how you're supposed to feel about them, and I think that's good. there was also, of course, this moment here where they're talking about seeing everyone here. And they talk about how Cordelia has got to be like the strongest warrior, holding the log. I really like how this kind of rhymes here. It's good. Is Cordelia a trans woman or a natural woman? Cordelia is trans. Cordelia was born male and technically raised as a woman. Natural woman isn't the wording I would go for, but I get what your question is. This made me love Polmuk, how he talks about forgiving the Nords in the latest chapter. Yeah, we're gonna get to Polmuk, because Polmuk is like MVP. But yeah, that moment's really good. Then more of the straw from the wheat in the village. Again, I love how the wheat has become a weapon of war. That's so good. It's genius. Bug Eyes. I love Bug Eyes this chapter. I love how Bug Eyes was like one of the most important people in the peacetime of this place. He always thought he's just this useless guy. Don't count on him for anything. But he's one of the most important people for peacetime because of the translation stuff. But come war, everyone's forgotten about him. He is like, he's this useless guy who can't do anything right. And they forget about how important he was. But a man like Bug Eyes, even though he is very valuable to a peaceful society in a place of war, you know, he's just being wasted. And it's sad. I love how we use Bug Eyes. See, I used to think he was just random comic relief for comic relief, but in this arc, he really has something going for him. He actually has really good thematic purpose in this arc, and I really am invested in him now. I think it's great how Yukimura has taken his kind of comedic nature, and the fact that you know, we know him to be this lighthearted comedic character, putting him into this serious situation and not letting him have any comedy. Like the tone of the story is completely different around him now, and that makes us have to look at him differently. Because even in the farm arc, he wasn't really in it, right? He was kind of in the background of it, so he was still able to be a little silly. Here, he's in the thick of it, and it's sad, especially later. Later on the wall when he's talking to Einar, and like the men hit him because he was being useless, which I think this is going to lead to more like infighting and violence done onto Bug Eyes by his own people. Like, I think we're totally leading to that. But like, this is such a good moment. And then end of the chapter, we'll get to that too. But you have this moment with Einar. This page, this is one of the best pages of the year, honestly. I mean, the chapter this is kind of building towards kind of tops it a bit, but him thinking, oh my god, did I just kill someone? And being relieved that he didn't is so good. Because with the arrows, he's still kind of disconnected. He's disconnected for the moment. It's able to just shoot an arrow and think, you know, it's not, I'm not doing it really. Like, there's a rain of arrows, what's one more? But he watches his arrow follow to hit someone, and he's kind of worried that he actually killed someone. But then, like, that moment of taking a breath and taking it aside, like, he let his guard down for one moment. And that's the thing, that's the lesson Einar learns here. If I even lend them a moment of sympathy, I'm going to be punished for it. And he's just going to continue with that lesson. And then we move to nighttime. We have the hints of disease hitting the main force finally coming. This is going to come into play within the next 3 chapters at least. Maybe even the next one. It's definitely coming soon. Gauki kind of keeping himself on the outside too, so we know he's not going to get sick, which is good, because that probably means to me he has more fight to come. And he still hasn't unveiled the fact that he has the sword, and that's going to be very important for Muin completely losing control, which also this chapter is showing us. Very good setup, this chapter. Then again, the conversation on the wall, very good. Bug-Eye's wondering if Thorfinn's alive, and Einar, like, obviously he's very conflicted in this. He knows what he's doing, he knows Thorfinn wouldn't approve, but he's also scared that Thorfinn's not okay, because he cares about Thorfinn. They are no longer friends. He still cares about Thorfinn just as much as he did before. Then this. So they capture this prisoner, and the men just kill him. And Einar and Bug-Eyes are both shocked. But, I remember in my review, I misspoke here and said that it was Einar saying this, but it's actually Bug-Eyes saying this. Like, saying, what the hell, why'd you kill him? What are you doing? And they talk about this is revenge. This is their collective revenge, and this is where you, like, Bug-Eyes sees where this is going. He sees where this is going. That man, yes, he was a warrior. Yes, if he had the opportunity, he maybe would have killed them. He snuck in to contribute towards the war effort. I doubt he came here to do peace talks, you know, but they had him. He was no longer a threat. But they killed him anyway. Because they want the lives that have been lost to be repaid. And the cycle is just going to continue. And I love this. I love Einar looking down. He looks down at this trail of blood from the body being dragged. And he says, let me know if you have a better idea to protect this village by any means other than war. He's literally looking at the path of blood and saying, I have to walk that. I have no other choice. I have to walk it. That is such a good visual. I love that. Then we have this going on. Just some more battle stuff. And then Ivar. Ivar saying, don't let your guard down. And he's right, but I'm so interested in Ivar here. Because I was really thinking he would die of, like, just die from, you know, exhaustion, die from his wounds, you know. I thought he would just die from his poor condition. Which would be kind of ironic, seeing as they're just going to wait out the Villeneuve. But he would be the one getting waited out. But I think what we got is better, so that's okay. I just thought we were kind of building towards that a little bit. So yeah, this chapter, I really, really like this chapter. This is a very good one. Probably an A. Maybe this is... I think Einar's first declaration of violence, I think it does... You know what? No. I think this... Yeah, this one is above. The first declaration of to fight, I think that was good. But Einar's shooting the arrow in this chapter, and his conversation with Bug-Eyes on the wall, and the incident with the warrior who snuck in, the prisoner. All that was so good. This is an A. Alright, we're almost done. Okay. Oh, it's a crazy chapter. This is happening already, man. So the canoes come in, and, like, Sturk is overwhelmed. Like, this is, like... Everything's crashing down on him. And then Ivar, man. Ivar going, Einar can go, but I can't. Oh my god. I love this. I love this. Telling him, no, you're in command here. You're the one who has to be a leader. I love this. I love this panel. Nglassi's dead, brother. I don't want to be left alone. You're not alone. You have the natural gift to command. Everyone is counting on you. I like how we're taking Sturk's manipulative kind of, you know, way of directing people and recontextualizing it as a natural gift of command. You know, that he's somebody who has a purpose in war, and that purpose is almost like the opposite of Bug-Eyes. Bug-Eyes had this purpose during peacetime that completely loses value during war. And Bug-Eyes has this purpose that really only works in his favor in war, but in peacetime, it just lends to creating violence. Honestly, Ivar is probably even a better example of that, where he just can't let himself exist in a place without war. He just can't handle it. His mindset is so war-oriented. He just thinks he knows more than he does, and he just can't let himself exist in peace. But I love this. I love this, like, completely recontextualizes the way I look at Ivar. Like, I really believe now why Sturk feels the way he does, why Sturk feels like Ivar should be a leader, because this is the Ivar he knows, and we're only really getting a glimpse of here. But yeah, I'm going to take this risk. That's what it means to be a leader. So good. And he looks like he doesn't. This isn't like him being like a Thorkel. You know, he's not like, oh, a battle, I can't wait to fight. He's like, this is my duty. This is what I'm good at. This is what I know. This is what it means to lead. Like, he's very sincere about it. And that this pushes Stark to kind of lock in. And then we have this, man. I underestimated Ivar. I thought he was all talk. I really thought he was all talk. But he gets some kills. Now, it's not like he kills people who shot him with arrows. So, like, that wasn't really a fight. Well, this guy had a spear, at least, so that was, like, that wasn't another, bowman. Or maybe he was just pulling out the spear. But he actually, like, loses kind of quick. Actually, no, this is a different guy. Okay, you know what? No, he actually gets quite a few kills here. I thought he got less, so I'm still underestimating him. Well, I mean, first of all, the action here is drawn really well. I love this. I love the inner dialogue during the fighting. I think Vinland is so good at this, so I love it. Reminds me of the farm arc with Fox's inner dialogue. Very good. And this is Ivar feeling like he's satisfying his purpose. You know, this is fulfillment to him. But then, you know, we get to this page and, you know, how real is that fulfillment? I love the ambiguity of this. I love the ambiguity because it's almost not as straightforward as he makes it seem. Like he's enjoying the fighting, but is he really enjoying it because he thinks he should be? Is he just, you know, doing what he understands and he just doesn't really see the value in what was down here? Did he realize in the last moment that he would have rather been farming with his brothers in peace? I don't know. And that's what makes this I'm a True Warrior so good to me. Because you could read it so many ways. You could read it as, no, he's ignorant to the very end. Or, I realized my mistake, but I can't accept that I just wasted my life. I love... This is a very good end for his character. I honestly, I'm kind of sad he's going too soon. I would have liked more time with him. But I think that thought process is based on the fact that I wanted to see him have a growth arc. But I think Yukimura was setting up to show him, you know, to make us think he would have a growth arc. But then he doesn't. Like, we kind of think, oh, his hand, that was kind of like his arm, hand-ish, got chopped off by Gauki. This is going to be his humbling. He's going to realize, like Olmar, that he doesn't actually want to fight. But no. It's sometimes sometimes you really just can't change them. Like they have to change themselves. But some people they're just so far in that direction. It's too difficult to completely change on a whim. You know? Honestly, Vinland is a story I often criticize on that, where like you have these big emotional moments where a character will flip. Like Canute in the prologue, where he goes from weak and timid to suddenly he's like out of the cradle and he's a strong leader. And Thorfinn with the Oath, he goes from empty to fulfilled. Even though Thorfinn, I think people underestimate just how fast Thorfinn's growth was. Stuff like that. You know, characters having their growth arc be suddenly like... It's like characters are one way, then something happens and now they're another way, rather than they're constantly morphing into something else. But Ivar's shown, like, you know, that one wound, that's not going to change his mind. He's not... Sure, clearly this shows he's thinking about it, but it's just too late for him. And I like this arc continuously has this focus on taking things we've come to like about the ideal moments in the story and showing, well, this is kind of how it usually goes. And this is the first death of like a real central character. This is like Kiglati and Gitpi. Those were character deaths, but you know, this Ivar was a central character. We thought he might be the main antagonist of the arc. So having him dead here, that really hits. And then they're claiming the weapons like he's not even there. I love this last panel of him just laying there. He's just so... He's just nothing. They know nothing of this man. They could care less. I love it. And then they're fighting over the weapons, and now you have Vargar coming in. Ah, so good. Which is a good cliffhanger too. I liked the what will he do question, and I think it gets answered in a very like, oh my god kind of way. Like, even if you thought he would fight, I don't think anyone expected exactly how it was gonna go. I always hated Ivar since he ruined the peace within the trip due to being the one who started fighting. Yeah, I mean, I love Ivar as a character. I've come to really like his use in the story and how he's written. But obviously, he sucks. Like, as a person, he definitely, like, he contributed so much to the start of war. I don't think it's fair to Ivar to say he is the single sole cause of war. I don't think it's fair to Misepique either to say he's the single cause of war. There's a lot of factors at play. It's a very messy, complicated conflict now. But he certainly was a major player in things getting as bad as they did. This chapter. Is this S? What do we think? Is this S or A? It's one of these. It's either the top of A. I think S needs to be more exclusive. I think this is A. I think this is like borderline. Yeah. This might be B. Cordelia moment's very good. Yeah, no, I think it's this actually. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that for now. I mean, we know, right? We know. Hello, Artorius Arts, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Is it S? Alright, we're gonna go through it, but oh my god. Come on, man. Einar kills someone, and then the action here is insane. Like, he just immediately locked in. It's crazy. I mean, it's all this moment. This moment is just it. Showing, like, I don't have a choice, but he had already killed the man. The guy's dying. Maybe like one more strike to put him out of his misery because he's clearly suffering. But he says he doesn't have a choice, but he clearly had a choice whether or not he's going to brutalize him like this. And he clearly already made a choice a couple chapters ago that he was going to fight. I don't care if he was forced into it to some extent. Well, obviously, he was attacked. You know, it's completely fair to say he had to defend himself. He didn't have a chance to evacuate because they could only fit so many people on the ships. But he still chose this. He still made the choice, but he's going to tell himself that he didn't. Einar is... He might be the best written character in the whole manga now. I can't believe it. I never thought he would be, like, passing Askeladd. Because, oh my god. Like, genuinely, I think the top 3 best written characters in the whole manga right now are Einar, Kettle, Askeladd, and then maybe Hild and Thorfinn below that. Just going off of best written, oh my god. Einar's so good. I like what somebody said, that this looks like the wheat. It almost looks like wheat stained with blood. I love that. I like that this looks like Kettle holding the stick after, like, when he came to beat Arnheid. I love it. I love it so much. This chapter. Is this the best chapter of the year? Okay, we're gonna have to do this. Oops. We're putting chapter of the year up here. We'll decide who goes up there after, but this is definitely in the S. I'll have to order this when we're done. How many chapters remain at the end of volume 29? Alright, let's take a quick look at that. Let's take a quick look. Okay. So volume 28 had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chapters in it. We are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chapters. So we have, theoretically, 1 more to end volume 29, and then 8 more for volume 30. The volumes could end up longer, though. The number of chapters per volume has never been super consistent, but 8 is kind of a magic number. Like, some of them will have 9. Kind of depends on how long the chapters are. But, yeah, we're nearing the end of volume 29 here. We have maybe 1 more to go. God, this chapter is incredible. This is so good. Okay. Now we have the latest one, 216. How do I feel about 216? I love this moment. The start of this is incredible. I love how, for the first time, Thorfinn seeing his victims as the people they were, because they are resting peacefully. They're not like the war-torn corpses that they were before. They have woken up from their peaceful rest to push him forward. And I love how we're addressing the 1,000-year voyage being said in the story. Peak. I love that. I have been so invested in the 1,000-year voyage idea since the first 1,000-year voyage chapter, and every chapter has been kind of, for me at least, recontextualizing and figuring out what that idea is really meant to be. And I think we have a very clear picture now. So to have this chapter address it is so good. I love it. I love it so much. Because, like, this is exactly what my how Vinland Saga will end video is all about. So to see it be addressed directly, and I feel very validated by this. I love it so much. Now, I love Thorfinn's look here is crazy. It's so good. I've always kind of liked Thorfinn with a beard. I've always kind of liked it. Um, Obviously him freaking out. The fact that it's been 6 days is crazy. I love Hild being happy. That's the greatest. Um, but yeah, you know, I talked about this in the review. That I'm not as big a fan of this conversation as I want it to be. Well, okay, hold on. Pulmuk carries. Pulmuk carries. Oh my god. I love this. So, all of this stuff I've been talking about, where, you know, Pulmuk seems like he is in a really bad place because of the disease, because of Kitby dying, and he feels like, he likely feels like the Norse have to leave. I love that the story made me think that, and it's showing me how clever it's being, because it's saying, well, yeah, I did think that for a moment, but I know these guys. They're not bad people. I love Pulmuk. Pulmuk's so good. He's literally like the opposite of Misepikwe. He's like rational, logical, optimistic, and then Misepikwe is pessimistic, emotional, fearful. I love the dynamic there. I love this moment. I love Pulmuk guiding him. Obviously I thought the no enemies part was a bit weak. I still think so. I like the tie-in with the Great Spirit. I think that's very, very good. I just don't like the sudden, like, no enemies. I think that's silly. I like this page. I like this page is very good. I think I just had higher expectations for this moment, this dialogue, than it ended up having. Probably. I think, okay, beginning of the chapter puts it above this one for me. But, yeah, this one was not my favorite. Okay. Let's think about this. This one had Cordelia locking in. That's awesome. The cover page, one of my favorite cover pages, and Einar resolving to fight. Definitely gets outclassed by Einar later. But that's a good moment, you know? I don't think anything goes in D. There's no D chapters here. Like I said before, D is like a 7 out of 10. C is like an 8 out of 10. 9, 10, and then like these are just, you know, breaking the scale exceptional. So like these are still really good chapters. Just in the context of chapters this year, these were the two I remember in my reviews I had problems with. So what's chapter of the year then? Einar's first kill. Ivar gets humbled. Or Thorfinn. Thorfinn seeing the fires and thinking about his failure. This is tough. Between these three, it's genuinely tough. What do you guys think? What is your chapter of the year? Einar's kill? I'm kind of leaning towards that trip. Okay, let me say I think Einar's kill is better than 209. I love 209, but I think Einar's kill is a little bit better. I think you guys are right. I think, yeah. Artorias, Ivar losing his hand is your favorite. I love the art in this chapter. I love so much about the way it's, like, set up. The build up to it. Oh, man. But I think I'm with everyone else on chapter of the year being 215. I think so. It is just so good. But, like, it's almost unfair. Because it's, like, the culmination of this entire volume, basically. Am I being unfair to 216, guys? Am I being too harsh on it? What do you think 209 could have done more to top Einar's first kill? See, I wouldn't change anything about 209, though. That's the thing. With the natural progression of the story, like, 209 is exactly what it needs to be. It's just, how do you... Like, the 209 is, like... 209 is the start of something. Whereas 215 is, like... just such a big moment for the narrative, man. It's like to see this character we know for his kindness and his desire for peace end up taking a life. Like, that no character in Thorfinn's, like, on Team Thorfinn has taken a life since, like, well, Thorfinn's the only one. It's just too big of a moment. And 209, I love it so much. It's an S for a reason. But I don't know what else. I don't think you should have done anything else there, you know? I think it's just naturally that, like, one is a really big moment and one is, like, completely, like, a peak of the story, you know? It's just so important. Yeah, I think I'm on this point. What was so big about? Oh yeah, this is the one with talking on the wall and Einar. Bug Eyes getting hit. Einar's shooting the arrow. That was a very good moment. I truly love that moment. I don't know if that was really an A, though. I might honestly move the Cordelia chapter up. You know what? No, I won't. I won't. I lied. This is right. Am I being too harsh on Ivar's death chapter? This is a really good chapter. Honestly, 209 being as good as it is what kind of takes some of the steam out of the Ivar death chapter. Yeah, yes, yeah, Artorias, definitely. The 210, that was like, you know, it's acknowledging, we're kind of acknowledging the meta-narrative now, where we're really digging into the themes and trying to get everyone on the same page for where the story's going. It's so good. Alright, I think this is it. Let me take a quick screenshot of this. This is, yeah, I'm locking it in. This is my tier list of chapters that came out this year. Yeah, every chapter has a big moment. That's one thing I love about Vinland. Every chapter has a big moment. How do you think Gudrun and Carly can be reintroduced to the story? Yeah, Carly, I don't know, man. I think okay, this is insane, right? But the way things are progressing, it has been 6 days since the war started and evacuation started and all of that. At some point, the people they evacuated, especially if the Norse choose to stay, like I think they are, they're going to have to go and bring everyone back. They can't leave them on the evacuation island forever. They can't really like get more food. They have fresh water, but that's it. I think something really messed up is that the Norse might end up, like the Norsemen might end up bringing the women and children back themselves, which would be crazy. It really depends on how much longer the war goes. But the fact that we jumped 6 days, it's starting to feel a bit more long term than I thought. But I also don't think they would send Vargar away, considering how helpful he was to that battle. They now see like what Vargar and his men are capable of. They're not going to let them leave. And I don't even know if they would want to. But one thing that we talked about in a previous stream is wanting Gudrid to sail back by herself. Well, maybe with, obviously I don't think she'd leave the baby and Carly behind, but Gudrid being the one to sail to Thorfinn and save him and get him out of Vinland. I would like that. But I mean, I get why they have to be out of the way, but I'm hoping that it doesn't stay that way. But I think the most likely way they get brought back in is epilogue. I do kind of think they will probably be an important part of Thorfinn's like coming to terms with his failure. But it's if that's all for Gudrid and Carly, I think that's a shame. But I think the most natural way would be for the war to go on so long that the men decide to bring them back and fully, because that means they're fully saying we are not evacuating anymore. Which they're definitely trending towards that. But I just don't know if the war is going to go that long, because I think after the battle at the fort, which has been very extended, I don't think we have much more after that. Maybe one more battle. But my copium way that she gets reintroduced is her paying off on her arc of wanting to be a sailor, of not being useless, wanting to help Thorfinn, and not just be, a damsel. Her coming to, like, sailing the ship solo to come get Thorfinn out of Vinland, or, whoever's able to evacuate. That would be the way I'd like to see Gudrid go. But that's probably not the most natural thing either, so I don't know. I have no idea what Yukimura thinks he's doing. I'm expecting a Thorfinn child moment with Carly. Yeah, I really wanted to see Thorfinn have to explain what's happening to Carly. Despite, like, Carly is seeing war right in front of him, losing his home to it, and Thorfinn has to somehow explain to him that he doesn't have enemies either way, I have amigo. Hello. No Borfin next generation. True. First time catching a live stream. Hi, Silky. Hello. Is that Mel? Is that a Mel PFP? That'd best be a Mel PFP. I love Mel. I need Gudrid to have some girl boss moment. Facts! She needs to not just be a mom. If, like, everybody, literally even Bug Eyes, has a satisfying arc built into Vinland, the Vinland arc as a whole. Gudrid needs something, man. If even Bug Eyes is getting to eat, we gotta give something to Gudrid. Yeah, and if Gudrun doesn't come back to Vinland, I do think she has to have some very important thematic dialogue to give in the epilogue. It has to be. Has to be. I know Yukimura is not somebody who thinks it's okay for Gudrid to do nothing, because literally she had the whole. I'm gonna keep going back to this chapter for the rest of my life. Uh, this one, this one, where she's like, "Oh my god, I feel so useless. I bet Thorfinn would want someone else because Hild is like capable of doing all these things, but she's useless." I can read and write. That's cool. Hill's gonna be a big help, but I'm a sailor, but she's comparing herself to people. She feels useless, and now in Vinland she is being useless. Like she had a kid, but she's not really doing anything. I don't think Yukimura would set this up, and also set up, not this one. Also set up 167 with her saying, "I'll be the one to help you." There's no way. He's got something planned for her. I'm gonna cope until the very end. Gudra's so cute, I'm gonna cry. Facts. I love her. I just want Yukimura to give her her just desserts. Break the circle. Thor's had failed Thorfinn, but Carly's a smart child. Yeah, I would really, honestly, I would kind of love it if Carly, because of the way he was raised, if he was just like, well, yeah, of course, this violence is bad, but we shouldn't. Like, imagine he's just like, he gets it. That'd be crazy. That would feel forced. That would feel forced. But I also don't want him to just be Thorfinn again. But, we've already seen with the way the kids play. The kids play war. Carly talked about war very nonchalantly, about how Hild is going to stop the cause of war. He's obviously kind of teetering on the brink of acceptance of war. And I was really looking forward to seeing how the children seeing war would respond to it. So, I hope we're not done with Carly. I really do. So, let's talk about the year as a whole from 208 on. What happened last year? I mean, we believe Vinland. This is like, I love this chapter. This is so good. This is so good. I think this, overall, as much as I love that moment, like this stuff from last year, this is also good. I think, oh my god, wait, this happened last year. This was crazy. This was insane. Okay, anyway. This was the one right before, and then this year. I think this was a better year than last year overall. But that's just because of where the story is right now. We're in the climax. We're at the part where big things are happening, right? So I don't think it's fair to say that this, like, last year sucked, this year was good. Last year we were still we were building up to the start of war last year. This year we're in the war. This is definitely one of the best years of the manga. Like, objectively. Like, I love the early Vinland chapters, but I get why they're not everyone's cup of tea. Like, this year, everything's happening. And I love it. So, I mean, I think it's like a 10 out of 10 year, to be honest. Like, this is like the peak of the manga. I think her powering through being weak after giving birth to save Thorfinn has to be the only way. Yeah, same. Yeah, she needs. Yep, you read it. I'm sorry, sometimes you come in this chat and you read my mind. I'll be reading your message and I'll be like, yeah, like, and then the second half of the message will say exactly what I was thinking. Yes, she needs to have her moment like Carly's mom, where she was protecting that baby to the very end. She needs to have a moment like that. I love Gudrid. Fed Return is amazing. I can't wait to see Fed Return animated. I love that. Gauki is so deranged. I hope Yukimura has big plans for him. Me too. I love Gauki. He's such a good character to throw into this story. Like, he is a pure warrior character, you know? This is not the Vinland soundtrack anymore. What happened? Oh, Spotify is just recommending stuff, I guess, because I finished the playlist. Oh, did I not have playlist looping on? That's probably why. Yeah, I didn't. Oops. Whatever, we'll leave some of these. Actually, no. No, it's gonna be. I'm gonna get hit with some copyright stuff. Let's get out of there. Let's repeat the playlist. There we go. Okay. I was really feeling the music. I'm like, wait, that's not Vinland. Okay. But yeah, Gauki, having this character show up after, the really idealized Gippy tribe, these peaceful people who they just want cooperation, they want the mutual benefits of the relationship, and now we just have Gauki, who's just this chaotic warrior who wants power. And Muin's different, but he's still the same. He's still a warrior looking for power. Having these two different characters who want power is great. I'm glad it's not just like, we have the one evil Ulnu character. I like that it's like the warriorhood of the Ulnu is kind of being covered by two characters rather than one. I think that's great. I do wish we had more Ulnu characters that we really got to know besides these 5, though. Because it really is just Niska, Polmuk, Misekukwe, Muin, and Gauki. I don't think we really had any other... Oh, Gippy. Gippy as well, so 6. I wish we had a little bit more, but they all serve a very distinct purpose. I think Vinland is very good at this. It has... every character kind of has a very clear thematic purpose, and we don't really have any wasted space. So it's a very lean story despite how long it is, and I think that's okay. I think I can accept that because that makes every character really good. Gauki will trigger internal war. Yep, for sure. He's going to, like, once the main army's getting sick and stuff, that's his chance. He's going to grasp for power. The Norse are going to be doing their own attack at the same time. It's going to just get messy because Gauki is going to take that sword out and he'll probably kill Muin with it. I think that'd be pretty likely. Whoever has the sword holds the power. Even if the sword, like, a spear is still plenty lethal. It's just the fact that the sword is as good at being lethal as it is, and as alien to them as it is, and well, alien to peace in general, not even just to them. It's important to hold it. Carly would be more likely to understand the core message of the story in a way young Thorfinn didn't at first. I never really thought about this, that Carly might just get it. That would be really interesting. I was more focused on, Carly's shown to be such a smart kid, and the tragedy of that being lost to hatred and war would be really sad. We've got some women who are adults, though. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. When we were talking about this chapter, I love the relationship between Niska and Bug Eyes. I love how it works for both of their characters. But she could have just been a little bit older, She could have been older. I don't know why he chose to make her this younger girl. I think she's like 17 or 18 now at the point where we are in the story. She might be still 16. I don't remember. Well, end of the year. I think she's like 17. So, like... there's people are gonna say like, oh, some places 16 is the age of consent. Ah, it just adds unnecessary messiness. But I do get why Bug Eyes needs a relationship with somebody who is kind of like, you know, not like Freya from before. Not somebody who is kind of like out to get him. Somebody who's kind of on his level emotionally, and somebody who's very sincere, but an adult woman could do that just fine. I think Niska's written exactly how she needs to be. She could have just been older. Bug Eyes is not actually that young. He's as old as Thorfinn, and Thorfinn is like around 28 where the story is right now. He's not like a creepy old man, but he's he's still like pushing 30. So it's not ideal. It's not ideal. I think the relationship is really good though. But yeah, there's just no reason for her to be that young. If this was the direction, I don't know if he always planned to make her be in this kind of dynamic with Bug Eyes though. And I think a retcon would have been fine to just make her a little bit older, but yeah, it was kind of not necessary. I always pictured it as a big brother little sister relationship, but I also don't think they're gonna be like lock and lips by the end of this story. I think the relationship kind of, I think it transcends like a physical attraction. I think it is just a very sincere care for one another, and I think that's okay. If they start kissing and stuff, I might be a little more like, oh, you know, I'm already kind of coping, but whatever. Maybe Yukimura wanted to show how understanding Niska was despite being young. That's probably like part of it. I think it's only the Bug Eyes part that doesn't really work because her being like, she's kind of like, she's young, she's a clean slate, compared to Misepique. Like, she has the same abilities as him, but she's the young apprentice, he's the old master. She is seeing these visions, but she's able to contextualize them in a way that's not like, you know, we're all going to be wiped out. So I think her being young has a good purpose for that side of her character, but the whole Bug Eyes dynamic, that's definitely different. Because, I mean, like, look how she's drawn in, chapter... And like, a year and a half-ish has passed in Vinland since the start of the arc. But look how she is drawn in this chapter. Like, she looks like a straight up child. Like here, that is like, you could tell me she's like only a little bit older than Carly in this panel, and I believe you. You know, like obviously from the start these characters were going to have a dynamic. Like they had the group translation thing set up from here, and I loved it here. I think this is very good. But like, I don't know how, if you're planning to have these characters have some kind of romance, why would you draw her like that? You know? I don't know. I don't know. I've kind of made my peace with it. I don't think it's the worst thing ever, but it's definitely not a relationship I'm excited about in terms of I want to see them get married. You know, I'm definitely not playing dolls, making them kiss each other. I like how it works for their character arcs, and I think it's good overall. It's a benefit to the story, for sure. I think Yukimura once tweeted that he draws her too young looking. Yeah, I thought she was like 13, exactly. 13 is about what I would have thought. Yeah, I remember seeing that tweet. It was like, oh, if I'm not careful, I'll draw her too young. I don't remember if he was saying if I'm not careful, I'll draw her too young or too old. I forget which one it was. But yeah, he did mention how... But like, that clearly means he's thinking about it. He's thinking about how she is a kid. You know, he's acknowledging that she's a kid. Which is weird. It's weird. Whatever. We'll have to just see where it goes. I think the dynamic and the relationship they have is very good right now. It's very strong. It's very good for the story. But in terms of, like, it doesn't mesh well with, like, shipping kind of thing. Not at all. Not at all. Okay. Alright. I think we have successfully reviewed 2024 Vinland Saga. Took us 2.5 hours. That's brutal. But, wow, 2.5 hours to go through 9 chapters? That's crazy. I've just recently finished binge reading the manga, and I only found your channel a few weeks ago. But what are your thoughts on the chapter when Misepikwe have visions of war? Yeah. That was like very early on. So I actually wanted to do this. Let's do channel, a quick channel review. Oh, dude. No, that wasn't last year. That was like 2 years ago. That was, yeah. Almost 3 years ago. That chapter was released. So I started doing reviews at chapter 187, which was the one we were just on, the Niswaji's Expedition. This one we were just talking about. So this is where I started, and I did one for every chapter from there. Hello, Samar. Hello. Welcome to the stream. We just finished ranking all the chapters from this year. So you did miss out on the review, but now we're talking a little bit about channel as a whole. But yeah, so I reviewed 189. I was very hesitant on the vision. I was very concerned that, like, we were having absolute true future sight in the story, but I quickly came around on it with chapter 190, because the whole point of it is that, and I also think chapter 212, where Polmuk is like, you only see bad visions because you expect bad things to happen. You're afraid of bad things happening. So maybe you're just predisposed to seeing that. That is exactly playing into why I like 189, because even we only know the vision is real because it's history. We know the history is true. We know that the native people of North America were essentially put through a genocide by colonial settlers. Like, we know that is true, and we know that this is not a land of peace. Even the United States, as it is now, this is not a land of peace. So having the story acknowledge, we are not going to contradict history. It's going to still go like that. That's what I love about 189. And I think an important thing to remember is that no matter what, even if Misepikwe didn't see the real future, he was already so terrified of war that he was just predisposed to seeing it. He was always going to see something that reaffirms his beliefs that this is a bad thing, and it's because the ritual is done with, like, he's deprived of food and water. He has taken, hallucinogenics. He's smoking things from the forest, drank the potion. There's a special potion he has to drink. He's clearly going on like a trip, so I've made peace with the fact that yes, it is the real future, but he doesn't know it, nobody else in the story knows it, and the vision is handled very well afterwards, that I think it's okay. I'm glad, like, for example, I was really worried that chapter 193, when he goes and tells everybody what he saw, I was worried they'd be like, oh my god, the Norse are scary. But Polmuk is like, no, these guys are cool. I want to grow wheat. Like, I get what you're saying. I don't doubt that you saw this vision, but I believe in them, and that's perfect. Poma kind of saves it for me, and from there it's just handled perfectly. So I had no problem with it. Okay. So this year I did 7 videos. Not 7. I'm so dumb. I did 9 videos. I thought this was this year, but I guess it was last year. Right at the end of last year, I did the How Vinland Saga Will End video. Still my most viewed video. 27,000. I'm very happy with how this one performed. But, okay. So chapters this year, we got 1.5k on 208. 2.8k on 209. So 209 was a big one. Okay, well, never mind. These two hit the 3s. I can see why 210 would hit 3.2k. There's a lot to, like... There's a lot people want, like, analyzed from this. So that makes sense to me. I was surprised. I genuinely thought the A&R one would be, would go past that. But, people definitely came out for the no enemies thing with 216. That made 216 kind of blow up a little bit. But, so yeah, 210 review. This is my most viewed one from the year. I think that makes sense. I'm kind of surprised that, you know, no, I'm actually not that surprised that 213 was the least viewed one. I think it had a cool like, I loved 213, but I don't think 213 is, like, one that anybody would go searching for a review of. You know, if it came up and you like, and, like, you're a manga reader, you'll probably watch it, but I don't think anybody would read that chapter and be like, oh, I need to see a review of this. It's so good. You know, it's just a good setup chapter that, like, if you're really in tune with what the story's doing, you'll recognize that this is a good one. But yeah, I am kind of disappointed. I didn't do anything but reviews this year. Last year I had the AMV, I had the ending video. Very early into last year, it looks like I had the planet test stuff, which I love doing these. So I think yeah, this year I need to do more. I need to do more I need to do more videos outside of the normal monthly reviews. And I think we're definitely nearing a point where a good scripted video for the manga would be good, because we're really getting to the end game now. Because, like, literally this video comes out right before we start hitting the big things. This is me saying, all, like, this stuff's gonna happen, and this is the thematics of the story, and then it all goes, oh, you know what? Yeah, Trip, good point. I did start streaming this year, so that's something I achieved. That's true. Good point. So I did something else. Let's see. Where am I going? Sometimes Yukimura draws the maturity of the faces. Also depends on the type of specifics. Yes, true. It does. It depends a lot on the tone of the scene. It's a very good point, Enrico, because you have, like, you know, Thorfinn getting drawn as kind of like a cute blob of a character during sailing west before we go to Vinland. And, you know, obviously everyone's drawn differently when we're in the serious moments. So yes, it does definitely depend on tone. Because, like, very good point for Niska. Look how she's drawn here. And then look how she's drawn in was it 206? No, it was 205. Look how she's drawn here. When she puts her hands up. Like, here she doesn't really look too childish. Like, she looks like a young woman here, you know? But time has also passed, who knows? Interesting analysis. I was definitely hesitant when I was first reading the chapter, but like you said, the following chapters made me appreciate the moment a lot more. Yeah, I think it's just so good for the thematic purpose of the Thousand Year Voyage stuff, the pessimism of looking to the future. It works really well. So and also confirming that like that Vinland, it's saying like we are going to follow history, which is also very important. I think it's good. I think it's very, very good. I wouldn't. I think the story would be lesser without it. Yo, bro, what's up? What's up? Aryan Sharma. What's up, man? It's kind of sad because of how the anime changed after Askeladd's death. Felt it made it different. It definitely, like, it is different in terms of, like, I don't think it reaches, like, the dramatic like, high-scale political war, like, peaks that the prologue hit, you know? Like, Askeladd scheming. We don't really have anything like that anymore. At least not in focus. But, I obviously the story changes pace, and I think that's okay. It's kind of how it has to be. Video cover. Yes, the thumbnail is way more eye-catching. My good friend Jarky Bacon made this thumbnail for me. Obviously, my thumbnails are pretty simple overall. I kind of keep this similar look and feel. Just because I feel like I don't know. I've made a small kind of brand out of this thumbnail structure, so I'm hesitant to change it. But for standalone videos, I like getting a really good thumbnail, and this is a good one. I tried making a cool thumbnail for this one too. I actually really like how this thumbnail came out. The 2024 one. I know you said you're just looking at your YouTube channel as a hobby, but are any other goals you have for 2025? Like for the channel or just in general? Just for the channel at least. I think Vinland Saga is coming to an end, so I need to branch out if I want to keep doing this. I don't want to force the channel to keep going just because, just because. I would want to continue if I have something I really want to talk about. And, you know, JoJo. I read JoJo. I love JoJo, so I could do JoJo. Obviously, Yukimura already said he's going to make another manga after Vinland. He's not retiring after Vinland. He already has a plan for what he wants to do next. There will be a long break, but obviously I'll be there from day one for that. Like, I trust Yukimura with anything. You know, I really believe in the way he writes, and to be there from chapter 1 of a new story would be really, really cool. And I want to have my voice out there for the reviews immediately, for sure. So yeah, I think that's my goal for this year, is get more comfortable doing other things, because Vinland's going to be on break, and I don't want the channel to just die before the new manga starts, which it'll be years, I'm sure. I imagine he'll probably be taking a good break. Content is much more important than cover. Yeah, for sure. I mean, a thumbnail doesn't make a good video, but a thumbnail, that's what gets someone to click on it. That's for sure. I wonder if Thorkel being in the thumbnail of the 210 video made people click on it more. Because imagine you're kind of like, you're not really too big on Vinland Saga, but like, you know, you're caught up either way. But like, you see a thumbnail with Thorkel and you didn't even know a chapter came out, and you're like, oh my god, Thorkel's in this chapter? I could see that getting some clicks. But a good eye-catching thumbnail is good. I think the lessons I have learned since making my very first thumbnail down here, no need to title. The title of the video tells you what the video is. There is very much no need to put Vinland Saga 187 chapter review and analysis. The title is going to tell you that. Something like this, you see Vinland Saga, you see 2024, you can put 2 and 2 together, and then you read the title and you see, oh, it's the year in review, you know? For this one, you see Thorfinn, you see why try, and you're like, whoa, what is that? What? That sounds very, like, pessimistic. What's going on? And then, simple title, How Vinland Saga Will End. I'm not going to change the review thumbnails, to be honest. They have a brand. I like the way they match up. I'm not going to shift it. But going forward for other videos, more thumbnails like this, I'm going to be trying to do like that. Definitely. I even tried a total clickbait one. I tried a clickbait thumbnail for this stream mod. Putting, say this volume's trash, this one's peak. This is a fun stream. I like doing the volume reviews. Well, not volume reviews. The, volume rankings. The eyes, yeah, exactly, Enrico. The eyes, like, you have to get someone's attention for them to engage with your video from the start. This video's funny. This is the only reaction I've recorded. Let's watch it. It's so funny. Play pause the music.
Okay, alright, okay. Fuck. I'm
like so nervous. You hear how nervous I am?
Nervous.
I mean, of course I say it right there.
I've been saying this is gonna be the big one. I have a really bad feeling that this is the big one. I think someone's dying. I don't know who it's gonna be. I don't know.
I was like shaking. I was totally shaking. I think I was shaking reading most chapters. Like in this I don't know, the past like 2 volumes. I'm so nervous.
I mean, I'm still thinking it's Hild, but
yeah, I thought Hild was gonna die.
The only thing I thought was stopping Bug Eyes from dying was the
Bug Eyes.
That he still needed to see Nisquaji again. I felt like they needed to talk at least one more time, and now she's here. So, could be him.
Dude, my reaction.
Or, you know, either way, someone's dying and the war is gonna start, and it's
Dude,
going to be
I'm literally crying.
Or the baby, just
I'm
like
so
I said,
scared.
So. All right, fucking, here we go. Jesus Christ. What is this?
They're already fucking there? No, what? It literally sounds like I'm dying, exactly.
They're already... No, they cannot already be there.
Dude, I'm like literally gonna cry for this.
Oh, God, I would have freaked the fuck out right now, man.
This is literally how I read every chapter, by the way. I'm like always just freaking out.
Village, man. What the fuck?
This was such a good twist.
Oh my God, is she gonna defend Carly?
Dude, the gasp I make here. So good. I love this video so much.
No way, it's going already. What? Oh my God, we're getting more named characters.
Yeah, the introduction to Gauki.
Dude, they already started the attack. God, this happened way differently than I expected.
See, the funniest thing, man, at this point in the story, I was so convinced I knew how things were going to happen that this was so out of left field.
I told you guys, fucking watch Cordelia. Oh my God, holy shit.
I love this. It's so, I'm so stressed.
It's already started. Oh my God.
I'm freaking out.
Shit,
no, my favorite part of this is the end.
Is Hild gonna come out?
Hold on.
The baby still wasn't. This is.
Yeah, when I realized the baby still hasn't been born.
The bow is fucking drawn, man. Holy shit. God. The baby still wasn't. The baby still wasn't born. Are you kidding?
Alright, that's enough, that's enough. I think this video's hilarious. I record reactions as much as I can, and I upload them when I think they're good. But, sometimes I just can't, so I don't want to have a pattern of uploading reactions and then not be able to upload one and miss one, so I'm gonna stick to upload highlights if I think something interesting happens. I wish I was there for, like, I wish I was able to do a reaction to Ivar's death, for example. That would have been great. Alright. I think we have satisfyingly reviewed the channel for the year. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to do on this stream, so this is separate from Vinland. Throughout the year, I watched and read things, and I made a media tier list, a media, well, not tier list. I made a media thread, listing out all the things I watched this year, just so I could, remember and then think back on it. Because usually, I'd get to a habit of, sticking with the stuff I know, and not really branching out, not seeing a good variety of things. So this year I really wanted to get a good variety in there. So this is everything that I have, I guess everything of significance that I've watched or read this year. So let's rank them. Let's do a quick little ranking of all this. This is roughly in order of everything that I saw. I grouped some things together that made sense, but this is like roughly the order I watched things this year. / read. So the first thing, JJK Season 2, this is a C. I like the first, like, bit of Season 2. I like the what's it called? The premature death, whatever that arc is called. But the Gojo Geto stuff at the start, I love that. I think that was really good. The manga is significantly worse. I did not. No. There's some real dog on this list, so we're doing this. It's not that much worse. But my problems with Season 2 of JJK, they kind of align with my problems with the manga. The manga just does it even more worse. Hidden inventory, that's what I was thinking. Thank you. Monster. Monster's an S, man. Come on. I read Monster this year, and that was just so good. I love Monster. Pluto is also very good, but to be a bit more exclusive with S, I think that's an A. If you haven't read Monster, read Monster. I watched Pluto. I didn't read Pluto. Pluto's good. I think people who like Vinland Saga would probably like Pluto. But, Pluto and Monster. Pluto has more thematic overlap, I think, with Vinland in some places, but Monster is overall, I think, a better story. And I think anybody who likes Vinland should read Monster, for sure. Madam Web is this movie's terrible. This is definitely, like, the worst movie I watched this year. I mean, I went into it thinking it to be bad, and yeah, it was bad. God, this movie's terrible. Fatal Frame. So I played the first Fatal Frame this year. I think I really love this game. It's clunky and weird, but that's part of the appeal. I'm gonna put it B for now. It could be a low A. Okay. What is this? Oh, Gundam Witch from Mercury. I know the show was good, but didn't really do what I wanted it to do for me. I think it's a B. I think it's a B. My favorite scene in Madam Web. I feel like this is the funny part about this is that nobody remembers a scene from Madam Web. I think it's the one where what was my favorite scene from Madam Web? What the hell, man? I feel like you want me to say this is terrible. Because it was. What was it? I think the scene where she learns, she realizes she has the future sight power. It was just so silly. I remember laughing with my friends. That's it. It's just, that's it. This movie was just so bad. I was so, like, done with it. Okay, Shogun, look. I rated Shogun pretty low at first. But I was too harsh on it. Shogun's an S. This is like the one where I look back in the score and I think I was wrong. Because I wanted Shogun to be something else. But like on rewatch, it kind of... Rewatch with the right expectations, Shogun was incredible. I really like it. Might be the highest A. We'll see. Baby Reindeer. If you haven't watched Baby Reindeer, this is a very, very good show. And I don't think I've ever seen anything that talks about the topics it talks about with so much care. Did I like Pluto? I do think I may have actually liked Pluto more. So I'm going to put it A, but this is a very good show. Okay. Dark. Alright, Enrico, thanks for hanging out. Take it easy. Dark. If you have not watched Dark, you have to watch Dark. It's on Netflix. It's in German, but we're all Vinland Saga fans, so we can get past subtitles, right? So watch Dark. This show is amazing. I gave it like a 9, but in hindsight, I think I'd give it a 10. I think it goes an S. Dark is incredible. Jarky Bacon, what is up? You missed all the Vinland. Yeah, you missed 2.5 hours of Vinland. This was the... I'm going to post it on Twitter, but this is my tier list of chapters this year. You're going to have to go back and watch, buddy. Dark is incredible, man. I'm glad you've watched it, Ari. Ah, man. We should find out if Kyle has watched it. And if... Jarky Bacon, have you watched Dark before? If you haven't, we could consider doing a watch through discussion of Dark, because oh man, Dark is so good. Okay, look, this is C tier relative to the rest of the year. This is all relative. Like, C is an 8 out of 10. No, 7 out of 10. Nah, 8. Whatever, I don't care anymore. We're past that. Okay, we put Dark on the list for sure. Dark is so good. Yeah, this is what Attack on Titan thinks it is. Genuinely, Dark leaves Attack on Titan wishing it was this smart. Kaiji Ultimate Survivor. This is a B. This is like, I consider this... I think I did like it more than Witchman Mercury, to be honest, in hindsight. But like, it feels old. It feels like, not like, I don't know. It feels kind of formulaic, maybe. I don't know how to put Kaiji. I don't know how to really describe this, but I don't know. It's just like it's almost tropey, but it just does it so well that I can't complain. Ari mauling over JJK season 2 plays. It was terrible. Just kidding. Not terrible, but you know, I didn't like it. Wasn't for me. Shogun might go up to S. We're on the border here. Godzilla -1. This is a very good movie. This is what Godzilla should be. It's getting hard to rank these now. Because now we're talking a movie, not TV. Godzilla -1 is very good. I think it's a low A. I think I got more out of the ones above it. Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones. I love Fire Emblem. This is... I liked it more than Fatal Frame, though. Not my favorite Fire Emblem. If you want personalized thumbnails, do them without... Oh, you could do... Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that offer. If I'm in need of a thumbnail artist, I will let you know. Right now, I don't really need to. I don't really have any projects that need it, so I'm alright. But I will keep that in mind. Yeah, Godzilla -1 was very, very good, man. I watched the like Hollywood Godzilla 2014, I believe. Was it 2014? I don't remember what year it was, but I quite like that movie. Not everyone does. But this is obviously a big step up. The Bear. So this is The Bear as a whole. I watched season 1 and 2, and then I watched I watched season 1 and 2, and then I kind of gave my thoughts on that, and then season 3 came out, and I gave my thoughts on that. If it was just season 1 and 2, it would be better than Shogun. But season 3 really brings it down to B for me. Season 3 really crapped on this show. It has some good episodes, but some real stinkers. But I have to leave it at least top of B just because season 1 and 2 were just that good. I love the writing in The Bear. I love the way these characters are written. It's so good. Gunbuster. If you have not watched me, Elite Ari, Jarky Bacon, and Kyle Entertainment talk about Gunbuster, go watch it. I think Gunbuster was great. Gunbuster, I don't think I liked it better than The Bear. I don't think I did. But Gunbuster was really good. B is gonna get real crowded. B is gonna get real crowded. And I think Gunbuster, Diebuster, I'd put pretty close together at this point. But do I like Gunbuster more than Diebuster? So if you don't know what these are, I can't give you the encyclopedia write out that Kyle Entertainment can. I highly recommend watching our videos. Oh, take it easy, Mr. Bacon. Thanks for stopping in. I can't give you the good background spiel, but basically, this is like, Gunbuster is like proto-Evangelion, like, the creators would go on to do EVA. It's a very big part of the Evangelion kind of history and legacy, I'd say. Diebuster is the future, like, many years later sequel that is almost like proto-Studio Trigger. So I really like how these two complement each other. End of the day, I think Gunbuster above Diebuster. But I've come around on Diebuster a lot. I didn't really like it at first. Okay, dude, alright. Dungeon Meshi, low-key, this is going up here too. Dungeon Meshi is going like here. You know what? No, I think, okay. The way I ranked these, I gave these all like a 1 through 10 score in my media thread, but my opinions have changed. Oh yeah, 2025, I'm done giving things a score. I see why every other person I see do a media thread, they start doing scores and then they stop. I totally get it now. I'm done giving stuff a score. Dungeon Meshi definitely goes in S. I think this is like the anime and manga combined. I really loved Dungeon Meshi. This was just so good. It could go to A, but I gave it a 10 because I loved it. It was perfect. It's exactly what it needed to be. And I gave Dark a 9 because it had some stuff about the ending I didn't like all that much. But I still think I like Dark more. So that's why I'm done giving stuff scores. It's a terrible idea. Deadpool and Wolverine is a fun movie. There you go. It's better than Jujutsu Kaisen. It did give me hope in Marvel a little bit again. That Marvel is not completely broke. Yeah, Enrico, I saw your message, man. If so right now I don't have any like projects in the works where I need a really good custom thumbnail yet. If I do, and I'm looking for a thumbnail artist, I will let you know. And I appreciate the offer. But yeah, thanks for participating in the stream. Thanks for stopping in, and being vocal with your thoughts. It's cool, dude. I knew you, Ari. I knew you'd be upset about that. Okay, yeah, here we go. There we go. Too much. I really dislike the last arc of JJK. But you're right. That was too cruel. That was too cruel. The animation of JJK Season 2 alone... Yes, it should... yes. I was being too cruel. I was being... Yeah, no, I can't... As much as the story... Yeah, it's just not for me, exactly. But, it is a very beautifully animated show, and I feel like I'm not doing it justice. But I did not care for the manga, and that really soured my taste. Okay. House of the Dragon. Look, this is just House of the Dragon Season 2. This was not popular. This was not popular. It had pretty bad reception overall from fans. That being said, I think it was better than Season 1. I love House of the Dragon Season 2, and I'm going to stand on that. I'm going to stand on that. So good. I think every character is fleshed out better in Season 2. Everyone has an interesting character arc going for them. The dialogue is even more interesting. It was more fun to theorize on now that they're done doing major time skips and we're kind of locked into like these characters are kind of fully realized now. We're able to see them just kind of be put in situations. I think who is he? Aegon the fourth, I believe, or is he the third? No, he's the second. He's technically the second. I started reading Fire and Blood this year. I didn't finish it, so it's not on my list. But I started reading Fire and Blood, which is the book that has the full Targaryen history. The House of the Dragon is kind of like a piece of that. But King Aegon II Targaryen, I think the what he was done with his character in this season was just so cool. I really love the direction they went, and I'm just so excited for where it's gonna go. So, yeah, House of the Dragon. Shogun, though. Okay, I'll need to rethink Shogun's placement. I might still be being too harsh on it. The Boys. If The Boys had a very similar problem to The Bear for me. If I was rating The Boys based on season 1, like season 1 maybe 2, I'd probably put it like here or here, because it was pretty good. But it got so stinky. The Boys got so stinky. So I'm putting it here. Yes, Silky. Oh my god. Yeah, House of the Dragon's amazing. People are too harsh on it. I really love that scene. Aegon is so good. Like, he sucks. He's still, like, not really a good guy, but he's also, like, a kid, and they're doing a good job. Yeah, The Boys falls off really hard, and it's a shame. Honestly, JJK did not offend me. The Boys offended me. Oh, man. But Gen V could be worse than Madam Web. Gen V was really, really bad. Gen V was like if The Boys had no redeeming qualities. It had some good twists, though, so it's not like dog. So The Boys I can't believe I'm giving JJK season 2 this much credit, but at least there's a lot of artistry in JJK season 2 that it would not be fair for me to say to put the boys at high. The boys, it really falls off. It's sad. I hope the next season's better though. I hope they learn their lessons and I can rate season 5 alone higher. JJK Bros, we are back. Honestly, maybe I probably do owe it a rewatch. Maybe I feel like people love Shibuya Incident in a way that I just couldn't get into, and it makes me sad. You know, I wish I was as into it as other people were. But I just don't really care for the characters, I think. I also don't think I care much for the magic system. Like, for me, I don't know, the domains and stuff like that, I feel like it always just kind of falls short of the stuff Hunter x Hunter does, and what Hunter x Hunter and JoJo, in terms of like power systems, I feel like it just falls a little flatter to me. Honestly, I might need to make like a void. Okay. We have to do this. Oops. I always do that. I go to add a new row, and then I mess up. We're going to add a row below. Because we need to have an F. It's so unfair for me to even put Gen V in the same, like... Because Gen V is, like... It's like, legible. You know? I just to distance these C tiers, which are genuinely, like... They're alright. I need to distance them more from Madam Web. Alright, so... I watched every single Alien movie this year. Every single one. Because I watched Romulus and I liked it. Alien, the first one, is a very good film. And but for me, you kind of have to... You have to look at it and appreciate what it founded. You know, I don't know. I think it goes here. Aliens? People love Aliens. People love Aliens so much. I didn't really care for Aliens. It is better than... I think Diebuster is better Aliens. That's my thought. Diebuster is Aliens, but better. Yeah, Artorias, I think I was just so disappointed in how far down the boys fell. Like, Season 4 still had some good moments, but it felt like they just lost the writing, and they stopped being interesting, and they started just being super gross out and shock value. I just wasn't feeling it anymore. Alien 3 is better... better than Gen V. Alien Resurrections is the funniest movie I've watched this year. This movie is terrible. But at least it was kind of funny while doing it. I'll put it above JJK manga. I'll put it above JJK manga. It's funny. It's better than Deadpool. It's better than Deadpool, actually. I think this movie's hilarious. Just my enjoyment of watching it. Come on. Prometheus is cool, but I didn't enjoy watching it. And Alien Covenant is the worst. Alien Covenant actually might be F. Alien Covenant is the worst Alien movie. Actually, okay, no. Madam Web can say aloud. That's the only thing I rated like below a 4 this year. Alien Covenant is terrible. I truly hated Alien Covenant. It is a miserable movie to watch. Every character is boring. The alien is not cool anymore. You know what? I'll put it above Gen V because David saves it. David is cool. David is such a good character. Gen V doesn't even have a David. Sad. Okay, I'm gonna get flack for this. Alien Romulus. I adored Alien Romulus. it's going here. It's better than the first one. Cause I'm a new age liberal fan. I can't appreciate classic cinema, but I really liked Alien Romulus. I'll put it here. I saw the TV glow. This movie has not left my brain. I don't know where to put it. It has not left my brain. Covenant was the first one I watched in preparation for Romulus. Yeah, it's just not. It it just completely forgets anything that's like valuable about the Alien franchise. It's just such like a. It's such a just a. I don't know. It's like a lame action movie with no substance. At least Aliens, it's kind of like, I don't know. Aliens is like, this is peak 80s action flick. You know, it's summer blockbuster. It is what it is. It's not trying to be Alien, and that's okay. Alien Covenant doesn't know what it wants to be. It wants to replicate Aliens more than it wants to replicate Alien, and I think that's a problem. As good as Aliens is. But it ain't no die buster. Alright, I saw the TV glow. It was very, very good. This is probably going an S. I just don't know what I wanted the plot to be in this movie, and I don't know what the plot is in this movie. This is just an absurd movie to watch, but it certainly made me feel. It certainly dug into me, which I think everything in S really dug into me. But I don't know. The plot, I don't know, it is almost like, if watching this movie does feel like almost being in a trance, you know, staring at the TV screen. You're so disconnected from the events, and it's all about just how it feels to watch. So I'll put it in S for now. I might change things up. Okay. Covenant is so boring. Romulus came out this year, and it was a good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It feels like it's trying to bring back what makes Alien good, and it brings in good elements from both sides of Alien, because Alien is a franchise split by its directors, man. You have the original director who did Alien, and then you had completely different director for 2, for 3, and it just becomes such a mess because there's no clear vision. And Romulus is again another director, but it is being made with the history of the series in mind, and I think it comes out on top for it. Did you not watch Look Back? I did. That is here. We're definitely gonna talk about that. Over the Garden Wall. I watched this at the perfect time with the perfect people. It was just, it is so, it just like is, it is what it is. It's kind of weird to rank it among like a very serious drama, like a monster kind of thing. But this is one of my favorite things I watched this year. I put it in the same kind of area as Dungeon Meshi, where it's like, I understand this is not like the complicated, dramatic, you know, kind of cinema, you know, but it's just really well done. I really, really loved it. So it's going right by Dungeon Meshi. Wherever Dungeon Meshi goes, it will follow. Okay, another game, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. This, I really like this game. It is fun. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. Definitely one of my favorite games I played this year. I consider myself to be pretty big on games, but I actually wasn't that big on playing new games this year. At least, you know, stuff that I played to completion. I only put stuff I finished on this list. So I have a couple things in progress. One of the ones in progress that I wish I could finish in time for this was, oh my god, what's it called? Why can't I remember? Disco Elysium. I'm really liking Disco Elysium, and I'm looking forward to to giving overall thoughts on that. But yeah, my pickings for games are pretty slim this year. I was really focused on TV and manga. So definitely liked it more than Sacred Stones. I think it's a very well designed game. Um, I probably enjoyed it more than Aliens, and I probably enjoyed it more than Gunbuster. Yeah, there is fine. There is fine. It's a good game. It's a very good game. But this isn't like this is one of those things. It's like a bite-sized, well-crafted game, and that's all it needs to be. This isn't AAA blockbuster cinema gaming. This is just a very good time. So it's going here. Look Back is the best thing I watched this year, I think. I think Look Back is the greatest thing I watched this year. This is incredible. This is such a gorgeous movie. I didn't read the manga. Look Back is so good. Oh my god, I love Look Back. I don't know what else could really surpass it. This is probably my favorite thing. I think I watched it at the perfect time, perfect scenario, and like this movie made me want to draw again. This had me crying the whole time. I think this is just excellent. It's so good. Yeah, if you haven't watched it, watch it. Okay, 6 Feet Under. This is like a TV drama from the early 2000s. And it was very, very good. I definitely would put it above Shogun, I think. Shogun might get moved up. S is getting too crowded, to be honest. I do think slightly more than House of the Dragon. So I'd put it here. This was a very good show. Okay. Dune. Both Dunes. Part 1 and Part 2 I watched this year. Dune Part 1 is good. But it's like there though. It's like I didn't really care for this movie. Part 2 I liked way more though. Part 2 probably here. I think Dune is just like a great great visual spectacle for sure. I don't really care for the characters. I think the world building is really cool. And obviously Dune is like foundational foundational sci-fi. So you kind of have to appreciate it, but I do feel like I'd probably just like the book more. I feel like the movies kind of left me wanting without me being as invested as I hoped I would be. Yeah, I wouldn't put it above. I don't know why Die Buster keeps ending up being my kind of equilibrium point, but I just think I liked Die Buster more, and that's okay. That's all right. The Penguin. This was good. I enjoyed it. Probably like here though. You know what? No, I enjoyed the Bear overall more than the Penguin. It's going here. I enjoyed Die Bust. No. Actually, I will put it here. I think I'm being hard on it because it's superhero, like Marvel DC stuff, I'm always hard on these for some reason because I feel like there's a kind of cynicism always attached to like superhero properties, to me at least. But I think here is about right. I think this is a very well written show, and very good TV. That's for sure. Fire Punch has grown on me significantly. It has so many weaknesses, man. Fire Punch has so many weaknesses that it's unreal, but it's such a fun read. Oh man, I might be too separated from Pluto, but I'm considering putting it above Pluto. I think I'll put it here for now. I think Baby Reindeer is really well written, but it does have some flaws and things I don't really like, especially, in hindsight. I'm comfortable putting Fire Punch above. Pluto is really good though. And I did not like the end of Pluto. I really did not like the end of Pluto. I felt it It fell very flat, but everything leading up to that was just so good that I can't knock it. Fire Punch is just absurd, though. I love Fire Punch. Arcane. This is Arcane Season 2 specifically. I have a very, like, House of the Dragon kind of feeling on this, where I think other people dislike it more than I do. It is definitely a very flawed piece of television, though. It's very flawed. The pacing is very rough. The priorities going into the end of Arcane were kind of all over the place, and I don't think it focused the areas it needed to. But I think the artistry, visually, like, you just can't knock it. Like, this is such a piece of art visually that I just can't put it lower than A for sure. I'll probably put it above Baby Reindeer, I think. Baby Reindeer is really good. I'm being hard on it right now, but Arcane's very good. But I do think I actually thoroughly enjoyed Fire Punch more. I think I did. That was just such a fun thing to read through. I think reading it with Kyle, Ari, and Bacon kind of makes it a better experience for me. So I'm almost rating the experience of reading Fire Punch and talking about it over the rest. Daredevil. I watched this with my girlfriend. She loves Daredevil. Watched the whole thing from the start. This has the same effect as The Bear, where if I were to just rate it, no, it's the same effect as The Boys. It is better than The Boys. Way better than The Boys. Probably here? I had to move Prometheus down. I just remembered the scene of the lady running away in a straight line from a rolling, like, circle. That was terrible. But, no, all the characters are stupid, too. I hate that. Yeah, Prometheus is staying down there. Never mind. But Alien Resurrections is funny. Okay, sorry. Back to Daredevil. It has the same problem as The Boys. Season 2 of Daredevil is genuinely, like, terrible. Television-wise, it's not as bad as Gen V, but I do think Season 2 of Daredevil is, like, the most offended I have been watching a season of TV this year. I genuinely was so upset. It was just so bad. JJK is better, probably. Season 2 of Daredevil is just really that bad that it completely... Like, if I was just rating... It would be next to the... It would be better than The Penguin if I was just rating it based on Season 1 and Season 3. But Season 2 just has some real stinkiness that I'll put it here. Yeah, I think here. It's better than The Boys. God. You know, I need to remember that The Boys genuinely is good sometimes, and I need to not be so harsh on it. Because I genuinely feel embarrassed putting Daredevil here with The Boys. But no, Season 2 did drag it that bad, so I'm putting it there. The Fifth Element. Watched this one out of nowhere because a friend of mine brought it over, and they really liked it. And I was like, I feel like watching a silly movie. And this was so funny, man. I love this movie. It's like I can't rate it an S. I just can't. I rated it high because I gave it like a 9.5 in my media thread because I just thought it was so funny. But let's like to be realistic, I certainly enjoyed it better than Dune. It probably goes here. I think this is just a funny, good time. I liked it a lot. It all comes back to Die Buster. It always comes back to Die Buster, man. It goes here. I would rewatch this movie over and over again, though. It is just that funny. I'd rewatch this sooner than I'd rewatch, like, most things on this list. Alright. Zelda Skyward Sword. I started this, like, years ago when the HD remaster came out on Switch, and I just never got around to finishing it. But after Echoes of Wisdom, I was like, okay, let me lock in and actually finish this game. So I grinded it out. It's not as bad as people say, but this game becomes a real slog. But the story is really good. The story is the best story Zelda ever did, 100%. But the game really is a slog. It's going here. Yeah, I'm fine with it here. I might move it lower, honestly. We'll think about it. Okay, I watched all 3 Lord of the Rings movies for the first time this year. Let's speed run this. Fellowship of the Ring is an A movie. Two Towers is a high C movie. And Return of the King is an S tier movie. I think this is right. The Two Towers is not that bad at all. Low B. I can't put it in C. I think these movies are just as good as people say. And the Return of the King is just such a beautiful payoff. I think it's these movies are incredible. I don't think I will watch the Hobbit movies. I don't really care. But I will probably want to consume more Lord of the Rings to some extent. Okay. Out of left field, this is the one book I finished reading this year. I have a couple books I'm like in progress on reading, like actual novels that I'm reading. But I didn't finish any this year. I'm very bad at locking in and reading. But I had a very long drive for the holidays, and I put on an audiobook of The City and the City. So this is a crime novel. It was recommended to me by a friend because I was really liking Disco Elysium, and this book kind of has a similar feel to Disco Elysium. And it was good. I quite liked this book. I didn't really care for the end, but I've just kind of kept thinking about it, and it's a good book. I have no idea how it compares to anything else on this list. I mean, where would I actually put this? It's so weird to try to rank this among the rest of this, to be honest. Because it was just good. It just didn't really wow me, but it does keep me thinking. That's for sure. I probably liked it more than Dune. So let's put it there. Alright, the last one. Goodbye, Eri. This is 100% an S. But I gotta order this S tier. And I also gotta split off a top 5, I think. So let's do that. I keep doing that, man. I'll add a new row and then rename the one I'm on. Let's do S. Top 5. We gotta start splitting some stuff up a little bit here. Look Back absolutely goes up there, 100%. What else goes up there? I think I liked Goodbye Eri more than TV Glow, which is kind of funny. TV Glow, I saw TV Glow as a movie that should be my favorite thing of the year, but it just kind of, it was just really, really good, but it didn't really, the themes I thought were just excellent. I guess I didn't really vibe with the way it was told is all, which is just to justify it not being top 5, really. Okay. I think Dark goes up there. Again, I had some qualms with the ending, but in hindsight, they're so small compared to what Dark does. I think Goodbye Eri goes up. It goes here. I don't think it's actually top 5 though. You know, Goodbye Eri is that good though. All right, that might be number 5. I think Over the Garden Wall goes up here, and I think Monster probably moves up as well. Yeah, I think these are my favorite things from this year. House of the Dragon, I have a very personal, like, bias towards. Dungeon Meshi. Oh, I really like Dungeon Meshi. You know what? No, let me do this. I think these two I enjoy literally to the same exact extent for the same reasons. House of Dragon. You know, I had problems with it. It's not going up there. It's not top 5. Is it 6 feet under? I think it is. I think it's 6 feet under. I think that goes here. I think this is the top 5 for me. Like, Over the Garden Wall is a 10 out of 10. Like, it everything it's trying to achieve, it does it perfectly. But, in terms of just, like, impact on me and my personal feelings coming out of it, this top 5 makes sense to me. And I think Shogun has earned getting moved up here, I think. Because it is that good, and I'm being hard on it for no reason. Arcane. No, I think that's right. I think that's right. Yeah, I think this makes sense. I think... Let's look at C real quick. Am I being too hard on Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2? Am I being too hard on it? I put it above Daredevil, guys. Come on. Surely I'm being too easy on it. Because, like, look, if we're going based off of my personal taste, you know, Daredevil, never mind. JJK at no point does JJK Season 2 stink the way Season 2 of Daredevil stunk, and the way Season, like, 4 of The Boys stunk. There's no way. So, yeah, you know what? It does deserve to be there. I'm putting it there. I really dislike the manga, though. I truly dislike the manga. It sucks because I thought Alien 3 had some good ideas, but just doesn't really execute well enough to be memorable. On par with Resurrection. Look, Resurrection is literally only, if I was going based on pure quality of, like, writing and filmmaking, Alien Resurrection is probably next to Madam Web. It probably is. But the joy, the pure joy I had watching Alien Resurrection is what allows it to be there. It is a terrible movie. But I just was laughing so hard at how bad it is that I just, my personal enjoyment kind of trumps it. But I would say, am I being too hard on JJK manga? It's just not for me. It's just not for me. Ah, man. I know Gen V and Madam Web are definitely the two worst things I saw. I could put Covenant here. You know what? Yeah. I will put Covenant here. Covenant was bad and I hated it. Gen V was bad and I was indifferent to it. So yeah, Covenant is worse than Gen V. There we go. That feels better to me. Did I really like the Penguin more than Gunbuster? Yeah, I did. No. Yeah, I did. Alright, I could keep switching shit around. I could. Kaiji is good. I feel bad having Kaiji there. Like, I would say, like, B and up, I had, like, are things I had very minor qualms with. C is like things I genuinely had problems with, and I thought were kind of flawed. Like C and below. So like being in B is good. Being in B is not bad. So I'm not gonna go moving things around because I feel bad for putting Kaiji so low when it has some great moments. The bear truly deserved to be higher, and it is genuinely a shame that it is in B, but season 3 really let me down. Yeah, I think this list makes sense. Okay, there we go. We have 2 lists today. We got our Vinland Saga chapter tier list, and we got our Media 2024 tier list. If I could rank actually some ongoing stuff real quick where I put them, let's see. Okay, ongoing. You know what? Yeah, I should actually add this. I want to add these real quick. Let's do let's do. I'm gonna add some because ongoing manga this year. I do kind of want to talk about what I'm following. And I think it's fair to take a whole year of an ongoing story and rate that against stuff you completed. I think that's fair enough, right? Okay, I'll probably add them later. I'm not gonna go get all the images. So let's go do this real quick. So obviously, Vinland, I think Vinland had a really, really good year, and it would be in the top 5. I don't think it would surpass Look Back, though. I think Look Back was just exceptional. And I'm just talking about, you know, Vinland as in this stretch of chapters only. I don't think it surpasses Look Back for me, but it's definitely top 5. Probably above Dark. One Piece was very, very good this year, but it would probably be an A and probably be somewhere next to Fire Punch. I don't know exactly where, but One Piece has been very good this year. Chainsaw Man has been okay this year. Definitely not my favorite this year. A lot of boring chapters where there's not much to say, which is kind of a shame. I think Chainsaw Man is probably just for this year alone, but it has some really good moments. Okay, it's probably a very, like, the lower end of A. Like, Ari, I don't know if you have different thoughts on how Chainsaw Man fared this year, but I think it kind of had some chapters, and I probably the week-to-week reading experience of it was not the most fun I had. I'd probably put it low A, high B. Hunter x Hunter was genuinely really great. I missed having it. That's probably right next to One Piece, maybe a little bit higher. Definitely in that Fire Punch kind of area. What else am I reading? Like, Berserk had some chapters this year, but you really can't rate that. There's just not enough. There was not enough to rate. It's probably what Berserk had maybe 2 chapters this year. It's just not enough. Oh yeah, JoJo this year. JoJo was pretty good this year. I'd probably put it above Chainsaw Man this year. Probably. Yeah. I'll think about whether or not I want to actually add them to this list, but this is just, you know, stuff I've completed this year in full. So we'll keep it to that. Alright, I'm gonna screenshot this. We'll be saving this in my media 2024 folder. Tier list. Go. Bit crazy actually seeing a new JoJo part being serialized. Yeah, it's very, very fun being up to date with a JoJo part as it's coming out. I really like it. Yeah, I was very used to JoJolion. I caught up to very late JoJolion during the Dr. Wu arc. So I was like, you know, it was about to hit the final arc, you know? So getting to be there for the start of a JoJo part is definitely a very satisfying experience, and I'm glad I caught up when I did. So, because like the start of part 9 would have been the only other chance I had to be up to date with a JoJo part. Well, as it's coming out, you know, like from start to finish. So I'm glad I didn't miss that opportunity. What is the Planetes anime like? Where would you rate it in this list? I think I watched that. Was that a year or 2 years ago? I don't remember. Where would I rate it? I mean, I'd put Planetes manga pretty high. Planetes manga, I'd probably put right above Dungeon Meshi. Planetes anime, I'd probably put as a B. I had a lot of problems with that anime. It was fun. It was fun, but the way it changes the ending, it's just not the ending. It changes like the beginning and like latter half of the story to an extent that I just could not get behind. It very much feels like the way Full Metal Alchemist, the 2003 anime, the way that changes Full Metal Alchemist, like it still has some of the highlights, but you know, it kind of fundamentally changes things in a way that really conflicts with the manga to the point where it's barely the same story anymore. It just did not hit well for me. I'd probably put Planetes anime like bottom of B, top of C, maybe. But Planetes manga, that would definitely go high A. Are you into any sports and manga? I watched Haikyuu a while ago. It was like during high school I was watching Haikyuu, but then I kind of fell off it. I do want to get back to it one day because I know, you know, I did kind of like it. I don't know why I stopped. I think I was just between seasons and I kind of never got back to it. I tried watching Blue Lock. I liked episode 1 and then it just kind of progressively fell off, and I think within 6 episodes I was just kind of done. I wasn't really feeling it anymore. And then yeah, the clips I've been seeing of Blue Lock definitely not convincing me to give it another shot. What other sports ones? I liked Kuroko no Basket. I think that's a fun one. I watched that in like high school, like early high school, I think. That's a really fun one. I think those are the only sports anime I've watched. I do want to read that that hockey manga from the Golden Kamuy writer. I still need to finish Golden Kamuy though. I'm in progress on that and I'm really liking it. I was hoping to get that on this list this year, but I never finished it. But yeah, that would be fun. Does anyone have any sports anime manga recommendations that I didn't hit on? I know Ping Pong, the animation, if you consider that sports, I probably would. I know that's supposed to be very good, but I never checked it out. Oh, I started reading Real this year, and I really liked it. I read the first volume. I need to get more volumes of it. Obviously, I like Vagabond, so I definitely would like to finish it. Yeah, Slam Dunk. I need to. Slam Dunk's the other one. I know they had a movie this year. I would definitely like The Climber. The Climber has been on my radar for a while. That's been on. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna commit to reading that this year for 2025 because I know I'd really like it. Do I have any other sports manga? I feel like there's one I'm forgetting. It was like kind of sports, kind of not. I don't remember. Alright. I have been streaming for almost 4 hours now. I think we've covered all our bases. I need to eat lunch or something. I'm like starting to shut down. This was fun though. I liked doing the I'm gonna post these to Twitter, but this was really fun to do, going over all the chapters this year and ranking them. 215 is definitely chapter of the year for me. I think these two come close, but 215 is just a culmination of everything I've been waiting for. And then media tier list, yeah, Look Back is definitely my favorite thing this year. Look Back was so good, man. Perfect. Alright. I'm all done. Thank you everyone for hopping in, for sharing your thoughts. I appreciate having so many people who like to come in and actually, give their thoughts on what I'm saying. It's kind of fun. I'm saying a lot of similar stuff to what I say in the videos, the reviews, especially for the Vinland stuff, but it's a bit more candid, a bit more off the cuff, and it's kind of fun having everyone bounce off me as I'm talking through it. So yeah, thanks everyone. And yeah, there's definitely probably last stream for the year, so I'm looking forward to middle of next month probably. I'll be doing the pre 217 stream, so that will probably be the first thing from me next year. So I will see you guys in that stream. So thanks for watching, and I'm looking forward to a good 25. Bye everyone.